Robbie Williams Rewind.
Welcome to Robbie Williams Rewind. We are the champions. I'm Matt.
And I'm Lucy.
And along with help from special guest fans, we take you on an in-depth rewind through the solo career of multi-award-winning singer, songwriter and entertainer, Robbie Williams. And before we get going, we just want to say Happy Christmas to everyone.
So, from our house to yours, from the Robbie Williams Rewind family, we wish you the best Christmas and a very, very happy New Year.
Oh, that's lovely. And you wrote that on the spot, Lucy. That's good.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that from?
Some of you may recognise it slightly.
Maybe we'll have a little bit more of that later on. So happy Christmas, everybody.
Yes. So today we're talking about Robbie's fourth album, Swing When You're Winning, and his Royal Albert Hall show of 2001. So today we've got our lovely friend Kelly Dugan with us from Scotland. Hi, Kelly.
Yay! Hi.
Hi, Kelly.
Nice to see you.
Good
Speak
evening.
to you. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
How are you guys?
Yeah, we're all right.
Yeah, getting into the festive spirit.
Yeah.
Christmas decorations
Yay.
up, Christmas tree up.
Got my Christmas jumper on.
Yeah, Lucy's got the Christmas jumper
Yes.
on. Very nice. And you've got the fire burning there as well. You've got some wood on the
Yes.
fire to keep you warm.
Yep.
Good.
So, Kelly, tell us how you discovered Robbie, how you became a fan.
So, I actually did not like Robbie Williams at all.
Oh,
And then,
Controversial.
because I live out in the countryside, we had a school bus that took us to school. And I was on the school bus and this song came on. I was like, oh, that's quite good. I quite like that. And that song was Rock DJ.
yeah.
Aha.
Yes. And I was like, oh, that's that rock. That's that annoying guy from the band. I hated him. And then I didn't buy that album. Before, the only song I knew before Rock DJ was Millennium
Yeah.
and Angels.
Yeah.
But when the Swing album came out, I was like, oh my God, Swing is my thing. I'm going to give this guy a chance.
Oh,
And that was it. I went backwards from there and bought all the albums before that, after that one.
yeah. Oh, so that's a good reason for us to talk to you on this episode.
Yeah, I discovered Robbie through Swing.
Excellent.
Great.
So you
Well-
would did your parents play swing in the house or something? Is that why you liked it? or-
No. So I didn't grow up around music at all. It was never on in the house. I was never in the house as a kid. I was always out.
Yeah.
So I just didn't listen to music at all. So it just wasn't a thing. But when I would visit my grandparents, like my granddad Pete, he would always play swing music.
Ah.
So that's where the swing came from.
Oh.
So I knew all swing songs before I knew even any Robbie songs.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we have this album to thank for you being a fan.
Exactly. The swing. This is the only reason I became a fan, really.
Yeah. So do you have a favourite song or album? Or is it swing?
Well, before I would have always said my favorite album is Swing Both Ways.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But now, if you ask that question, the answer is straight away the Under the Radar series.
Right.
Right.
I thought you might say that.
Yes.
Yeah,
I've heard you talk about them
that's
before.
it now.
Yeah. I love them as well.
They are my absolute favourite.
Oh.
But after them, like actual release albums, it would be Swings Both Ways.
Yeah.
Right.
Classic.
Yeah.
And do you have a favourite song off one of those? Was it too
Do you
hard
know
to
what?
pick?
I honestly don't. I do
Yeah.
not have a favourite Robbie song. I just can't choose one.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think same for me, actually. It's a really mean question that we always ask guests. What's the
Well, some
favourite
people
one?
I know.
Some do, but
Yeah. A lot of people have an absolute favourite, but I
Yeah.
just don't.
you either absolutely do or you absolutely don't. There's no in between.
Yes.
People don't hover and
I've
think,
got a few songs that I'm like, nah,
yeah.
but there's none I could like favour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when was the first time you saw him live?
The first time I saw him live, I think I was maybe about 14, because when I heard like Rock's DJ, I'm sure I went to that tour. Is that the tour where he sang "We Are the Champions"?
Yeah. Well, he did in Cologne, didn't he? I don't know
Yeah.
whether he did
I don't know.
many other places. But that was
Yeah,
2001.
well,
Yeah.
There was a tour where he sung that, and that was the first time that I saw him live. My mum and my friend's mum took us both, so we were like standing, but like not proper standing. We were
Yeah.
like, we got the bus there, so we didn't get there till like 40 minutes before it started.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was like, yeah, that was the first time.
Was that an open air concert?
Yes, I'm sure it was in Glasgow, so it would have been at Hampden.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that was
Yeah.
summer 2001. So that was just before the Swing album came out.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, do you know this? All I remember is "We Are the Champions" from that tour.
Well, see, I don't remember him singing it, but I wasn't a champion then. So
Yeah, but he sang it at the end.
interesting.
Yeah.
I guess he didn't necessarily do the same set on every single
Yeah.
date. though.
But do you know why he sang it? Because that's when the movie was released as well.
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was on, yeah,
Well, we would
it was on the
we would
set
very
list.
much like to hear it live again.
Yeah.
So, Rob, if you're
Yes.
listening, let's have
It
that.
was really good live.
Yeah.
I bet.
Really good live.
Yeah. We keep hoping one day he'll do it again.
Yeah.
He sings "We Will Rock You," so he can sing "We're the Champions."
Yeah.
Come on, Rob.
Yeah.
So how many times have you seen him now? Do you know?
I don't even know.
Too many.
No.
Lots
all
and
the
lots and
tours.
lots.
It's a few, yeah. You know, I'm really bad at stuff like I bet some people you ask could tell you how many times they've seen them, what year they've seen them, how many times they've seen the same shot.
Well, I've got a list.
I just can't.
That's the only way I can remember.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Yeah, I should have maybe done something like that, but you know what? I don't even take pictures anymore. I just go and enjoy
Yeah.
it, and then go again and enjoy it, and then go again. You see the amount of times people say to me, "Why are you going to see the same show?"
Yeah.
I was like, because the set list is maybe the same, but the show is never the same.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Never.
And the crowd as well always makes it different.
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole queue experience as well. You're always with different people.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
part of the fun, is it?
Yeah.
Well, we've said on previous podcasts that actually we spend a little bit more time in the queue than we do in the gig, don't we? So we end up getting
Yes.
to know people quite well in quite sort of close confines, you know, in tents and
Yeah.
sharing and
Yeah.
enjoying things together. It's a little community, isn't it, of friends?
Yeah, definitely. And the amount of people you see in the queue, it's like, oh, hi.
Yeah.
There's always like so many people, you know.
Yeah. It's part of the fun.
Yeah.
And you went to Vegas as well, didn't you?
Yes. Me and Angie went to Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas was amazing. I've actually been to Vegas before
Right.
and I didn't like it
Oh.
because I don't drink and I don't gamble. You know, going to Vegas just isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what people go to Vegas to do.
Mhm.
But you know, I couldn't miss the chance to miss such a show.
Yeah.
So
And you
Yeah,
met him.
it was
as well, didn't
amazing.
you? Did you do a
Yeah.
meet and greet? How was that?
yeah, we done the meet. That was great. That was amazing. He was so nice at the meet and greet. So it came to our turn and he was like just chatting away, nice chit chat, and then he was asking about my CrossFit that I was doing.
Mhm.
And then like the security guy was trying to move him on and he was like, "No, wait a minute, I know these ones." It was like the sweetest thing ever.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was so lovely.
Oh.
And at the meet and greet, I don't know how much you guys have been on up front and in the chats and stuff, but there's one song I always ask Rob to cover.
Oh,
And I
can't remember
always
that.
ask him to cover a swing version of it. And that song is Pure Imagination.
Oh, yeah, I do
You
remember
know,
that.
from Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Oh, I do remember being there once when that
Yeah.
discussion kicked off. Yes.
So at the meet and greet, I said, "Rob, it's okay. I know what you're going to say to us. The secret's out. He was like so confused. He was like, "What secret?" I was like, "You're going to cover Pure Imagination for me, are you?" And he was like, he didn't quite say it, but he and he was like, "One day I will cover it."
Oh,
Well, Kelly,
Yeah.
25th year next year.
Yeah.
Not long. He
But
may
you
have
know
a little
what?
surprise there for you next year.
Even if he doesn't do a swing version of it, like swing version would be amazing of it, but even just a normal version. But there's one time when I've asked him to say it, and he said, "I don't think I could cover it because I don't think I can do it justice."
oh,
Yeah. So I says to him, I was like, "Mate, you just covered Dolly Parton's song. How the hell can you not do Pure Imagination justice?"
yeah.
And I actually think, Kelly, in a swing version in particular, I think he could nail it, more than nail it. Because
Wouldn't it suit him so much?
Yeah.
Because that's one of the, we will talk about it as we go through the album, but that's one of the things I'm so impressed by on this album. I mean, Robbie always gives a great performance, but in particular with swing, his vocal and his performance is just out of this world. So I think
Such a
he
natural
could
at
easily
it.
nail
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So good at it.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's definitely got a swing soul.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And you've also been on stage with Robbie as well, haven't you?
Yeah. I was in the Candy Bed.
Yeah. Is that on the Let Me Entertain You tour?
Yeah. That was in Paris.
We weren't there, but I remember seeing the photos of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was amazing.
Were you really nervous?
Oh, well, do you know what? So I actually have a tremor. If you've been around me a lot, you may have noticed it. Most people don't because I tend to like hide my hands a lot, but I do have a tremor. And usually situations like that would like make it really bad. But I came off the stage and I looked at my hands and they were completely still.
Wow.
I was like,
Oh.
yeah, it was like had the opposite effect. It was like nothing to be nervous about. He was so nice. And when we were in the bed, he was asking about the horses and stuff. So I was like, oh my God, this is the sweetest thing.
Oh, I've always wondered what you talk about when you disappear from view.
Is
Yeah.
that what he asked when you dipped down into the bed? Or was there another question?
Well,
You couldn't possibly say.
some things I will never reveal.
We'll get that one day. Oh, what a nice experience.
Yeah, that was amazing. But, you know, you'd think that would be my favourite Robbie experience, but it's actually not.
Oh, what is?
So, you know the Swing Both Ways tour?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, he came to Scotland with that, and so on every tour, I always bring my Grandad Joe's lucky cap with me.
Yeah.
And it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
tartan cap.
Yes.
So on the Swing tour, you know, I was doing my usual, dancing away with my cap on, and he was like, asked for the hat. He like signed for me to throw him the hat. So I took my hat off, I threw the cap up at him, and then he wore it for a song.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was like, that's my Grandad Joe's cap. But I've got a framed picture of that in my room because it was in all the papers.
Ah.
So I contacted one of the newspapers
Oh, that's lovely.
and got a print set out.
And
But yeah, that was like my favourite moment.
and he gave the hat back to you, I'm hoping.
Yeah, he threw it back and luckily I caught it.
Good.
And not the person behind you.
I was like, oh my God, my Grandad Joe would go mental if I just threw his hat away.
What a great memory that was meant to be by the sounds of it.
Yeah, totally.
Oh. So I was going to ask if you could ask him one question or say one thing to him, what would it be? But I think that's your pure imagination.
Yes, Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob.
That
come
would
on.
be amazing. Get it done.
Yeah.
You know, when I met Tyson Fury,
Yeah.
so he was doing this meeting, a Q&A night in Dundee. So I went along to it. I was like the only female there. It was all men. So I went along to it. And as I was going towards him, I danced. So he was like, oh, he's like, do you want to have a dance? I was like, oh my God, I can't actually dance. I was like, I can show you my sidestep if you want. He was like, yeah. So I showed him my sidestep and he done the sidestep. And I was like, oh, have you gave Robbie Williams a phone yet? He was like, no, I haven't. He was like, how do you know? I was like, because he's mentioned it a few times. Are you going to give him a phone so we can get that song done? He was like, I will. So I was like that to Tyson, get it done.
Wow.
So we hold out hope for pure imagination.
You heard it here first
I
on
know.
Robbie Williams Rewind.
Yeah.
Kelly was responsible for getting Tyson Fury and Robbie together for the song that went on the Christmas present.
Bad Sharon.
Yeah.
Bad Sharon.
Hello. Yeah. Hello. Rob had said a few times already that he'd like to do it.
Yeah.
Or they spoke about doing it. Or
I'd
they
like
were
to
going
think
to.
that you were the catalyst for it, though, Kelly.
Yeah, I'll take credit.
Let's
Sure.
claim that one for you.
Yeah.
Cool. He's a big guy, isn't he, Tyson Fury?
Massive. Have you seen my picture
Yeah.
with him?
Yeah.
His fist is the size of my whole head.
I know. It's
I was like-
hilarious. I think it's because he's holding it in front, isn't he?
Yeah.
But still, it is
And
the
I've got a
same
really
size.
tiny head. Yeah.
I don't think you
I
have.
do. Like I actually have to wear kids' hats and kids' sunglasses.
Oh, really? Oh, I'd never
Yeah,
never
I really do
noticed
have a tiny head.
it.
But I'm sure his fists are
Massive.
super big
think
as well.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what a funny
You're a
song.
really nice
I
guy,
love that
though.
song as well.
Yeah, he always seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Oh, he's really nice.
Yeah.
He's really funny. I could imagine the two of them getting on really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
northern as well, isn't he? Tyson.
Yeah. Oh,
Morecambe, is it?
yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone about this the other day, and they weren't aware. I don't think they were Robbie fans so much, but they certainly weren't aware that he recorded a track with Tyson Fury. They were
Yeah.
like, "What? Really?" Yeah, as you do.
Yeah. I really thought it was going to be a single. You see, the first year the Christmas album came out,
Yeah.
I said, oh, Bad Sharon should have been a single. And he mentioned that the following year he would maybe
Yeah.
release it.
Yeah.
But then with the corona and stuff going on, it obviously
changed it.
just got,
Yeah.
put aside.
Still not too
But I
bad.
think it would make a great single.
Yeah, it would.
Especially just now with Fury being like on top of his,
Oh, yeah.
on top of his game, I think.
It'd be great to see them in a video together as well.
Could you imagine?
I don't know what they'd do, but I know it'd be funny.
In some kind of Christmas party office.
Yeah.
It's another good idea for the 25th anniversary.
Oh, actually, I think if they make that video, I think I should get to be Bad Sharon from The Office
Yeah.
and feature in the video.
Yes, we agree. Go for it. Come
Yeah.
on, Rob. Get Kelly on that video.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
So, should we go back to Swing When You're Winning?
Oh, is that what we're here to
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about? Right,
Yeah.
okay, let's
it
talk
may be
about Swing When
Christmas,
You're
but
Winning.
let's talk about Swing When You're Winning.
So, released on the 19th of November 2001, the album was produced by Guy as well as Steve Power for two of the songs, Something Stupid and Things. Most of the studio sessions were recorded and mixed by Al Schmidt, who had worked with Frank Sinatra. The 18-piece orchestra was arranged and conducted by Steve Sidwell, who played trumpet on Robbie's 2001 Sermon on the Mount tour. The orchestra included trumpet virtuoso Chuck Finley, tenor sax supreme Pete Christlieb, and Count Basie orchestra drummer Harold Jones. It's the second best-selling of all of Robbie's albums, both in the UK and globally. It sold 2.43 million copies in the UK as of 2020, making it 8 times platinum, and 7.52 million copies worldwide. Wow.
So, it was number one for 7 weeks in the UK, including being Christmas number one. So, it's apt that it's our Christmas episode today.
Yeah.
It became Rob's fastest selling album to date in the UK when released, and was in the top 10 for 13 weeks, top 40 for 25 weeks. It was also number one in Austria, Iceland, Ireland, New Zealand, Norway and Switzerland. It's Rob's best-selling album in Germany, becoming 5 times platinum, having sold 1.5 million copies, and was number 1 for 9 non-consecutive weeks. It was in the charts for 83 weeks, 19 of those in the top 10. Swing When You're Winning is the 4th best-selling album of the decade in Germany.
Whew.
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
What an album.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the accolades continue. Swing When You're Winning was number 2 in the UK and Austria's End of the Year charts 2001. In the End of Year chart 2002, it was number 1 in Austria, number 35 in the UK, and it was also 17 in the UK End of Decade chart. The official charts company said in a 2019 chart that it's the 56th best-selling album of all time in the UK. And just for reference, I've Been Expecting You was 48th.
So that's the one
So
that's
it's
the
the
best,
first one.
that sold more than this
Yeah.
album.
Oh, okay.
And the album went 6 times platinum in Europe, 5 times in Germany and New Zealand, 4 times in Australia and Austria, 3 times in Switzerland, 2 times in the Netherlands, and platinum in Argentina and Sweden. It was also gold in France, Canada, Poland, Belgium, Greece, Hong Kong, and Hungary. And by the second week of release, it had already gone platinum in Switzerland, Germany, and Austria.
Wow.
So for something different that he was doing compared to
Wow.
his previous work, it certainly
Yeah.
did very well for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it done so well. But I think the thing with the Swing album is it wasn't necessarily Robbie Williams fans buying it.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
Because you'll find a lot of fans will say they don't like the Swing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
think,
it's done so amazing.
I think it was
That album is done amazingly well.
Yeah.
it was a genius move by Rob
Yeah,
and his
absolutely.
team to do it, really,
Definitely.
to broaden him out to new audiences. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after performing Have You Met Miss Jones on Jay Leno's chat show in the USA and enjoying it, Rob walked into his manager's office and said, "Why don't we do a Swing album for Christmas?" David and Tim were unsure as they'd planned for Rob to have a year off after promoting and touring Sing When You're Winning. In Somebody Someday, Tim said, "I think if Rob had said, 'I've written all these songs and I want to do a new Robbie album,' we'd probably have said, 'Look, wait a bit, there needs to be a bit of space, a bit of time.' But as this was completely different from anything Rob had done before, his managers agreed he should go for it. Tim said EMI then thought they were trying to pull a fast one to get out of Rob's 4-album contract, as he'd produced 3 by then. EMI were unenthusiastic, wouldn't accept the proposed Swing album as a commitment album, saying, "This is not going to be commercially commensurate." But Rob was adamant because he wanted to do it.
That was a tongue tangler.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure I said that right.
You did. Commercially commensurate. Yes, you got it. What a load of
Well
rubbish
done.
they were speaking. Just my point of view on EMI, but there we go. Rob said that a few months before recording, he had wanted to kill Robbie Williams off, and that this album was one way of doing it. Not the way he'd planned, because it's still Robbie, but different. He also said, "I'm singing my favourite songs with a full orchestra and getting paid for it." He joked he hadn't been so happy since he first took ecstasy, commenting, there's probably will be a school of thought that will look down its nose at it, just by the very nature of how showbiz it is. I genuinely don't care. I love this. Guy said, "In the 4.5 years I've worked with Rob, I've never heard him sing so well or seen him enjoy himself so much in a recording studio. He's singing lower down in his range and he's much more relaxed. He doesn't have to sing on top of an aggressive backing track. These songs aren't aggressive. They're cool, sassy and slinky. But he's totally upped his game. I knew he would rise to the occasion, but he's excelled himself."
In You Know Me, Rob said, "I made sure that I went round to absolutely everybody in the band and shook their hands and thanked them and kind of got them on my side. I felt very fortunate, very, very lucky to be in the position that I was and not completely fouling up." Al Schmidt said, You can hear the sheer joy in his voice, and he has a great understanding and respect for the originals. He's really done his homework. Rob started singing when he was younger by doing Every Time We Say Goodbye on open mic night at the pub, which his dad used to compare. Rob would sing it every Tuesday, and that's where his love for these songs started. He couldn't believe he'd come from the pub in Stoke to Capitol Studios in LA, where Frank recorded.
Wow. While filming his Eternity Mandalay videos in the summer of 2001, all Rob had played was swing music in his trailer, practicing the songs he wanted to cover. In Feel, Rob described how Britney Spears wanted to sing These Boots Are Made for Walking with him on the album, but it didn't happen because he wanted them to duet on the much darker Some Velvet Morning, and Britney wasn't into that, apparently. And after that album came out, Rob received a letter from Sammy Khan's wife, Tita, saying that she and Dean Martin's widow, Jean, had listened to it together and loved it. Rob said at the Albert Hall show that he had framed that letter and put it up in his house. Rob said, "Frank's got the best voice. He's got the most amazing voice. Dean is more relaxed. He was more laid back. He made it look easy. I think to him it was easy. And he was the funniest. I love Sinatra, but I adore Dean Martin."
The album sleeve was photographed by Hamish Brown, and they tried to make it as Frank Sinatra as possible. At the time of the shoot, Rob said his depression was in full swing, hence why he was so thin and could fit into any clothes. However, in You Know Me, there's a painting of Rob in a vocal booth that nearly became the sleeve. Rob said, "We'd had an idea that Peter Blake would paint the album cover, and it came back, and it's an amazing painting. It was beautiful, but it somehow just wasn't right. I think it hurt his feelings a bit that we didn't use it." And then giving our usual NME review.
Yes, we always have to hear from the enemy.
Who are normally wrong. They gave Swing 5 out of 10, saying, "With this collection of Rat Pack standards culled from an era when wit, timing and glamour ruled the entertainment universe, he pays tribute to his heroes, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr. and Dean Martin, in a low-risk strategy. If the project fails, it can be passed off as Christmas marketing and novelty pastiche. If it succeeds, then he can stake a claim to the heavyweight entertainment crown." And it did succeed, so they can shove it up their
arse. And their
arse.
quote and their point of view failed, basically. So there you go. The enemy don't always get it right. Sometimes they try and give a bit of a backhanded compliment to Robbie, don't they? But, yeah. Oh, dear. American Slant magazine rated the album 4 out of 5 stars, saying the album is doused with cheeky humour and that Britain's bad boy proves that not only he can artfully capture our attention, he's actually worthy of it. As soon as promo was done for the Swing album, Rob finally took the time off he had promised himself he would, although he did go to the American premiere of Live at the Albert, where there was only a few fans outside.
Because he was in America.
Yeah.
Aren't they the lucky ones? Awards Robbie won during this period include Best Male at the 2001 MTV EMAs, Best Male at the Brits in early 2002, Solo Artist of the Year at the GQ Awards, and Sexiest Male from Company magazine. He was also nominated for Best International Male at the 2001 Italian Music Awards, as well as Best International Artist and Best Website at the 2001 NRJ Awards. Later in 2002, he was nominated again for Best International Male at the Italian Music Awards, Favourite Male Artist at MTV's Asia Awards, Best Male at the MTV EMAs, and Best Pop from NME magazine. They actually nominated him. He won Best International Male Artist from the Echo Awards in 2002. So there you go, that's our background on the album.
Nice.
What a summary of an incredible album. What do you think about all of that then,
Yeah.
Kelly?
Amazing. So there was one bit, I can't remember what bit it was, but someone was saying that he was like so happy doing it.
Yes.
Oh, Guy.
And
yeah.
I really
Guy.
think that whenever you see him doing swing, I really think that you see that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
you do.
He's so happy. He's so natural. I don't know if he worries less because it's someone else's songs
Yeah,
or,
could be that.
but he's always happy doing it. He's always relaxed. He's always like enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
I really see that every time he's doing swing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really connected.
Yeah.
Just in the zone almost with it. It's just.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've seen
Absolutely.
him perform so much, haven't we, that we probably pick up on this more than most, and you can see it and feel it, can't you, when he's on stage?
Oh,
with swing.
definitely. Yeah.
What I find interesting is how Robbie's obviously very relaxed doing swing and enjoys it, but then there's that other side of him that is into rap music and wanting to be like Public Enemy and stuff. And there's these two so different sides to him that both.
And what's amazing is he's equally good at it all.
Yeah.
Like whatever he does, he tends to be really good at.
Yeah.
I think he's got quite an eclectic music taste, even though we do only see a few parts of it, particularly when we were listening to the Corona Oki sessions, and he was talking about different bands that he likes and people that he respects and admires. I think I certainly learnt a lot there through listening to him, things that I didn't know he was into, because he isn't always that public about who he likes and what he likes. But
that's the thing. Is there anything he isn't into?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he
It's
does.
like everything.
Yeah.
I think it's good though, isn't it? It's that he's got an experimental side to him, which is keen to explore things, but also totally anxious about it at the same time, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally agree with what you said about him being in his comfort zone with swing.
He's totally at ease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
Let's move on to the first song.
Yeah, I will talk and Hollywood will listen.
Oh, this is a good one. I love this.
Yeah.
It is quite a song.
It's a good song. What I love about that song is because I wasn't from the generation of swing, I thought I'm never going to hear like new swing stuff.
Yeah.
And then, boom, he goes and writes a bloody swing song. And then he eventually goes and writes a swing album.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap.
Double whammy.
I was like, I'm never going to get to hear this kind of stuff live.
And then he did it.
And then
A swing tour. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it.
well, they say these things come along in threes, so you got the single, the album, and the tour.
Yeah.
And more since.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I really love this song.
It is an incredible tune, yeah.
Yeah. Just the music, even just the music in it. Get goosebumps when that music goes on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And like the tone of voice that
Yeah.
the song's like sang in.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's an epic, big, rich song, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's actually written by Rob and Guy, and as Kelly's just said, it's the only original song on the album. In the CD booklet, it says, "A moving meditation on the untouchable loneliness and biting ambition of stardom." Oh, that's deep, isn't it?
Yeah.
Robbie said, "We always thought this song was too orchestral and dramatic for a regular Robbie Williams album. Then, as this record started to take shape, we realised that it would fit perfectly."
It's almost like they made a swing album just for that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's worthy enough.
And it fits right in.
Exactly. Yeah.
And after performing My Culture on Later with Jules Holland in 2002, Josie, Rob's PA, reminded Rob that Kevin Spacey had invited him to join him at the Sanderson Hotel later. Rob delightedly said, "I'm literally too busy." He actually spent the evening watching football with his dad at his house. Bless him.
He just
Good on
wanted to
him.
say that he was too busy for Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, okay, there's probably a number of reasons there, but yes, he was too busy. He was with his dad. He's watching football.
Yeah,
It's a good excuse.
That's what he had planned.
It's important. You can see Kevin Spacey anytime.
I love the lyrics in this song. They're amazing, aren't they?
Yeah. I like the Mr. Spielberg line.
Yes. Yeah. And it's interesting that he is making a film next year as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Better Man.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always say, Kelly, it's very good of him to, release it so that he can support the podcast in the 25th year as well. Obviously, as we're rewinding through his career, it'll go nicely with, if you watch the film, you'll definitely want to listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
I also find it interesting that the lyric Cameron Diaz, give me a sign, because obviously any big Robbie fan would know that she did give him a sign.
She certainly did.
And that without
she gave
her,
him a big sign.
Yeah. Without her telling him to go back to Ida, because clearly it wasn't over, he wouldn't have gone back to Ida and wouldn't have married her. So
yeah,
it's weird, isn't
But
it?
do you not find that there's a lot of songs like that? Like, there's a lot of things happen, and if you listen to previous songs, you're like, oh my God,
yes.
Yeah.
he saw that coming.
Yeah.
He knew that was going to happen.
Yes.
It's freaky, isn't
That's
it?
happened a few times, yeah.
And we are definitely, during our research, learning even more of those. So
Yeah.
there's even more connections coming along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Cameron Diaz was, so you've said on previous podcasts, about how you used to string your posters up on from your picture rail in your bedroom.
Yeah.
Cameron Diaz was actually someone who was on my wall.
Oh, was she?
So-
Oh, right.
Got a soft spot for Cameron Diaz. But yeah, she made it happen, didn't she? So
Yeah.
helped
Yeah.
to make it happen.
Without her, they wouldn't be married with children. Robbie and Ida, that is. Yeah, it's just an incredible song, isn't it? It's just
It really is.
the orchestra and the melody and just everything about it is perfect.
Yeah.
I think Hollywood will listen to Rob.
Yeah. They will.
I really do. It's an epic song with an incredibly beautiful orchestral arrangement, and it's so powerful and so bold and just I've got some favourite lyrics here. Buy up the rights to my book. Live on a ranch from what the box office took.
Box office took.
I'll go and visit the set. They'll call me their saviour. All the peoples will scorn celebrity. Lives on the moon. But I'll be back home in June to promote the sequel. I don't know why all the people that scorn
That's
celebrity live
very
on the
Robbie,
moon.
isn't
It is very Robbie.
Yeah, it is.
very Robbie.
It's got those Robbie-esque lyrics into what is quite a serious sort of swing song, but yeah, they're there.
Yeah. Do you know what I like about this song? I think that in this song, there's a lot of confidence in the song.
Yeah.
I think what he's putting forward is a lot of, well, I know I'm good, you just don't know it yet.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
Yes.
I like the confidence in the song.
Yeah.
And I like to think that song gave him the inspiration to write more swing.
Yeah, because he could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think if people didn't know Robbie then and they heard that song, they would just think, oh, yeah it's a swing song, Oh, he wrote it? Wow. I mean, obviously, there's lines in there about him, but it just perfectly fits.
Yeah, totally.
So should we go on to the next song?
Yeah.
Track number 2. Oh, Mac the Knife is my dad's favourite song in the whole world.
Oh, is it? Ah.
Yeah. He loves Mac the Knife.
Oh. Written by Kurt Weill, Bertold Brecht and Mark Blitzstein. Originally, it was written by Kurt and Bertold for a German opera. The song is based upon the story of an 18th century highwayman called Captain Macheath, who first appeared in John Gay's The Beggar Opera of 1727, and then in Bertold Brecht's The Threepenny Opera in 1928. An English version of the opera was written by Mark Blitzstein that appeared on Broadway in 1954, and this provides the basis for the version that Robbie sings. The English version was first recorded by Louis Armstrong in 1955, but became most popular with Bobby Darin's 1959 version, which hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and earned him 2 Grammys. Sinatra also recorded the song with Quincy Jones and said the Darin one was the definitive version.
This was recorded by Robbie in one straight take at the start of the Capitol Studios sessions. He sang it so well, he scared himself, according to the CD booklet, saying, "Look out, old Mackie is back." Yes.
Yeah, it's just a great song, isn't it? Why is it your dad's favourite?
I don't actually know, because he doesn't really listen to music much. Like, he'll have a radio on now, but back when I was younger, there was never music in the house, so I don't know why he likes that one. But Mac the Knife is the one song that everyone seems to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do.
Like, it's one swing song that everyone will recognise.
Yeah.
But, I like that one.
It's got a good vibe.
I like them all, though. Yeah, it is good.
It's a fun song, isn't it?
It is fun, yeah.
But I have to be completely honest, there's a lot of these songs. As much as I love Rob's covers, I do prefer the original. Yeah. There's one song especially, not on this album, but on Swings Both Ways. 16 Tons.
Oh, yeah. You just prefer the
Tennessee Williams. Yeah, Tennessee Williams' version of that is so good.
Right.
I love that. And there's a couple on this one I prefer the originals of, but I do like Rob's covers, of course. But...
Of course.
And I noticed that not on all of them, but on quite a few, Bobby Darin sang. I'm not saying he always sang the originals, but Bobby Darin seems to pop up quite a bit.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously he was a bit of a Robbie of his time, maybe.
Yeah, it's only the Rat Pack that ever get mentioned, but there's loads of
yes.
There's a Louis Armstrong song on there.
Yeah.
I prefer his cover. Sorry, Rob. There's a Nat King Cole song, "Straighten Up and Fly Right" was Nat King Cole.
Yeah.
I'd take that cover. But they're all good. But
so if we delve into Mac the Knife a little bit more, I mean, I love the jolly start to this one. Just that I just hear the first couple of bars, it makes me feel kind of happy.
Yeah.
But when you take a good look at the lyrics,
they're kind of weird, aren't
and
they?
you think about what the song's actually about, where I realised, oh, okay, it seems to be about villains and violence and putting people in cement bags and
trying to kill people.
And I was like, okay, this brings a different perspective to this
people
song.
like sneaking around corners.
Yeah. Which I guess, Mac the Knife, I kind of get it. But then when I started really thinking about the lyrics, I was like, and then I started digging a bit more. I mean, Lucy does a lot of the research for the show. I only come out with the odd thing, I can tell you. But interestingly, it was one of the many songs to be banned by the BBC back in the late 50s.
Oh.
And I've got this quote from telespotting.kira.org, and it says, for close to a century, the BBC has taken its role as a gatekeeper of the nation's moral standards uber seriously, and that has never been more obvious over the years than in songs that have been deemed to be unsuitable for its audience's delicate ears. Behind closed doors, BBC controllers would find reasons to ban songs that they felt would stir the wrong emotions in its audience. And the range of reasons as to why songs have been censored can sometimes reveal how controversies surrounding youth culture have changed over the decades. For example, it was the BBC Two's Dance Music Policy Committee that reviewed Louis Armstrong's Mac the Knife from the Threepenny Opera, where it was ultimately banned in 1959 because of worries that its jazzy tune might incite gang violence.
Wow.
Wow. I know that was a really long quote, but it just says something about the
history
of that song, and what's happened, obviously how stringent the BBC
were. When I envision the actual character Mac the Knife, it's always like from like some kind of character from the Bugsy Malone era, with the hat and the cigar in the mouth.
Yeah.
That's what Mac the Knife looks like to me. Going around carrying dead bodies in cement bags.
Yeah, I was surprised when I actually looked at the lyrics, and there were all these names in it
Yeah.
as well that I hadn't realised he was saying as well.
Yeah.
And I always heard Lucy Brown, but some of the other names I just didn't realise were in there.
Yeah.
It's a funny song.
And I also listened to Bobby Darin singing it. I was mentioning Bobby earlier
Yeah.
on. And it's very similar. Darin's voice is a little bit more relaxed, a little bit softer.
Yeah.
But it's really similar. The arrangement, the lyrics, they've kept very true to the original.
Yeah.
Or to Darin's version, anyway. Obviously, so many people have sang
Yeah.
that song over the
They
years.
have done. Most of them are like close
Yeah, they are, aren't
to
they?
the originals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So should we go on to the next song?
Yeah, I think
Some-
we can agree that we all like Make the Knife.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one.
Something Stupid. So Rob released this duet with actress Nicole Kidman as the single from the album on the 10th of December 2001. It was number one for 3 weeks, including being number one for Christmas, at the same time that the album was number one in the UK. It also reached number one in New Zealand, Latvia, Argentina, Poland, Portugal, number two in Austria, Czech Republic, Germany, Ireland, Italy and Spain. And it was number 30 in the UK end of 2001 chart, which, considering it had only been out for 3 weeks, is
Yeah.
quite spectacular. Something Stupid sold 100,000 physical copies in the first week alone in the UK, going silver with 200,000 sales by January 2002. It's now sold 400,000 copies in the UK, making it a gold record. It also went gold in France, Germany, Australia, Austria, Belgium, New Zealand and Switzerland.
In Somebody Someday, Rob says he wrote to Nicole saying, "Will you be Nancy to my Frank?" And Nicole said, "I didn't negotiate. I heard the song and it's so sweet and funny. I did it." He asked and I said yes. I'm a terrible businesswoman. Rob apparently had said, "How am I going to get through this and not look like an idiot or try to lick her face?" And Nicole said, "Lick me? Well, that's a first. Well, I've been licked by a man, but never had one specifically say that he wanted to lick me." Interesting. Nicole said she found Rob charming and funny. Rob had a real blast with her, and he was pleased to see she was just as nervous as he was. Nicole said in 2014 on Graham Norton, "He asked me to do it, and I was in between movies, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. I had just done Moulin Rouge. I was so shy. And I had to do the harmonies, which was really hard for me. But he was really nice. And I went in and did it in an hour." Rob said, "Nicole's voice has a lovely tone to it. It's a very difficult harmony to sing, but Nick sailed through it. To get somebody of Nicole's stature to sing it with me was the biggest coup of the century. She's a lovely person, incredibly gifted and talented, and I am glad that that moment happened." Aw.
So it was written by Carson Parks in 1966, who recorded it with his wife, Gail Foote. The 1967 version by Frank Sinatra and daughter Nancy hit number one on the Billboard Hot 100 and number one in the UK, Australia, Austria, Canada, Ireland, Norway and South Africa. So what do we think of Something Stupid?
I love it.
So do I.
I do really like the Frank and Nancy version though, but I do
right.
love Rob and Nicole's version.
Yeah, it's
But I
beautiful.
for me, it's just Christmas.
It is, yeah.
Just the jingle in the background. As soon as I hear the music, I just feel Christmas.
Yeah. Well, weirdly, it definitely reminds me of Christmas because when me and Matt were going on one of our very first dates, and we were in the pub, Slug and Lettuce, I think,
Yeah.
in Poole. This song was playing
It
at
was.
the time, and it's got a real memory in my head of being in that pub at Christmas time with Matt. Every time I hear this song.
I was Robbie, she was Nicole, you know.
Yeah, but who had the whips out?
Not in the Slug and Lettuce.
Oh, yes, it's quite a raunchy video, isn't it? Yes.
Yes.
We'll come to that.
It's like that video should have a warning.
Yeah, we will come to that video.
Yeah.
So, Lucy, did you actually say one of your first proper dates with me? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because we
was a
knew
real-
each other for...
As opposed to an improper date with Matt.
Well, we knew each other before, and this was the
What
first
were
time...
the first few just not proper?
Just-
that was like the
just-
first proper one, though.
Just casual.
Well, it was just
date.
the two,
First
two
few
of
were
us.
practice.
This one I had to formally ask and, set a location and
Did he say something stupid?
Probably.
probably knowing me. Yes.
I also remember at that time speaking to Matt on the phone on Christmas Day
Yeah.
and being happily surprised to hear that he'd got Live at the Albert on DVD for Christmas.
Aww.
So I was like, well, this one's a keeper.
Only because I like Robbie, that was it. Oh, well, if he said to swing and he likes Robbie, he must be a real Robbie fan. Ah, okay, yes. What a show, though. I had to have that on DVD, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, such a good show.
Yes.
But this song also does always remind me of the Heavy Entertainment Show tour, and he would
Same.
Yeah,
get someone up on stage
Yeah.
and put...
on the sofa.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really sweet moment, isn't it?
apart from the mask.
And of course, his duet with Miss Piggy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that
I
one.
mean, come on, she kind of beats Nicole Kidman,
Well,
doesn't she?
Yeah.
That is,
True.
yes, she is an uber A-lister, Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't really get a lot.
You know this. I've never liked Miss Piggy. I cannot stand her. She
Oh, really?
annoys me. She's so horrible to Kermit.
She
I know.
is.
And when I saw he was doing that duet, I was like, oh, I can't stand that pig.
I think you're supposed to love to hate her, though, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because Kermit's the really nice one, and she's the, yeah.
I loved the fact that the Muppets were there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a classic moment.
Yeah, that was great.
But just for any people who don't know what you were just talking about
it was
before,
the-
Miss Piggy. So Rob used to take someone up on stage and actually put a mask on
On
the
their
girl's
sort of-
face.
It was on their,
Which
just on their
was-
See?
mouth, wasn't it?
I think Keith
It was
Lemon used
just
to
being
use
Corona
them.
safety.
It was like a set of teeth, wasn't it? Basically, a mouth that would move
It was horrid.
in a remote controlled fashion. So, people that didn't know what was going on were getting up there thinking, "Oh, I'm going to sit and hear Robbie sing a lovely song to me," and then suddenly they put this mask on their face and made them look utterly stupid.
Yeah. It was hilarious to watch.
Yeah.
But
But
I'm like you.
how disappointing if that was your moment,
I know.
Robbie.
Yeah, I know.
And the only picture you've got is that horrendous mask on.
I know.
Oh my god.
And if you're
Yeah.
lucky, he's messed your hair up as well in the process.
Yeah.
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 It is a great moment, though. It's a great moment of the show.
You did nearly get picked to go on stage in London, though, didn't you?
Yes.
Because two of our friends were arguing because he wanted one of them to go up, but they both wanted to go up, and
he
they
said-
were arguing.
And they were like arguing. They were like, "You go, no, you go, no, you go." And,
And
then he was
like,
standing
"Oh,
there and he was
Kelly,
like,
Kelly,
"Kelly,
you come."
you just come up."
And then that was it. Suddenly, the girl was,
Yeah.
was it, Amanda was like, "Oh, I'll come."
Yeah.
So it could have been you with that mask on, Kelly.
Yeah. Could have. But, I was so happy Amanda got
Yeah,
that moment.
yeah.
She really deserved it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And do you know what? Even with the mask on, she looked amazing.
Oh yeah,
She looked
She
so
always
good.
does.
Those pictures are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but he does let them have a few pictures without the mask as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. She's one of the nicest people I've met, Amanda.
Yeah, she's lovely.
She's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get on the show.
Yes, we will. Yeah, definitely. And the other thing I noted about this song is obviously it's a popular song because when you research for it, so many people have sang this song. There's so many famous
Yeah.
duets through the years. Just loads and loads of covers of this song.
Yeah.
So
Don't you think it's strange that it's like started as like a father-daughter duet?
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
And then you see the Robbie and Nicole video, you're like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know.
this started as a father and daughter, and now you've got them getting their whips out in
Yeah.
sexy underwear. You're like, what happened to this song?
Yeah, it is. You're right.
So on
Yeah.
that lovely segue, Kelly, why don't we talk about the video?
Yeah.
Hear a bit more about what you were alluding to there. Rob and Nicole's video was directed by everyone's favourite Vaughan Arnell and filmed in a West London studio. Nicole wore a £5.5 million necklace made of yellow and pink diamonds and a £1.2 million heart-shaped diamond-encrusted evening bag by Mouawad.
I don't know.
Do you say that?
I don't know how you say it. It's Mouawad. So people can work that out how they want. It was expensive anyway, but that's the bag that she kind of wears down below when he's got the whip.
Yes. Rob wore an 18-carat Moad watch decorated by white diamonds worth more than £20,000. Oh, so not as much as what Nicole was wearing.
No.
Just a cheap watch. The video is Robbie's 10th most watched video on YouTube with over 40 million views.
I think people are liking the raunchiness of it, of him and Nicole together. That's why it's got so many views. In You Know Me, Rob said, another one of those moments where you're lost in little boy land, sort of very impressed with the glamour of Hollywood that was sat opposite. Moments like that, you very much feel as though you're from Stoke-on-Trent. And what the fuck are you doing here? Nicole was very kind. She was well up for doing the video, and she did it really well, and sang the song really well. I just felt honoured that somebody with the class and the glamour and the talent and the prestige would do it. I spent the day of the video worrying about not doing anything that she'd disapprove of. I'd say they got on pretty well in the video.
It sounds like they were both nervous about doing it. Like she was nervous if she was being realistic about her quote earlier on where she said she was a bit shy. I mean, she just done Moulin Rouge, for goodness sake.
Which is one of my favourite films ever.
She doesn't strike me as a shy person, but, I guess it might have felt like a bit of a different situation and setting for her being with Robbie. Maybe she's a bit of a fan as well. You never know.
Yeah, maybe.
What do you think about the video then, Kelly? We've obviously touched on it, but tell us about your
it's
thoughts
like
on the video.
it's almost soft porn.
Yeah. For those people that haven't seen the video, there is quite a it builds to quite a raunchy few moments.
Yeah.
On the bed.
It's a video to remember. It's very nice. Nice Christmas setting. The Christmas tree looks nice. Rob looks nice. Nicole looks amazing.
Yeah.
That's all. It continues from there.
I was really happy that he did that with Nicole because I loved Moulin Rouge. It was my favourite film that year. I saw it at the cinema three times, and it was just perfect timing that he got her to sing that song with him, I think.
Yeah.
That may have helped.
I didn't really know her back then.
Oh, I loved her when she was in Bangkok Hilton, which was something I watched in the 90s, I think. I'd always
used to watch that.
really liked her. So, just thought it was great that he got together with her.
Yeah.
I wonder whether he got together with her in more than one way.
Lucy.
We'll never know.
There are certain things which just say secret.
Yeah.
I do like the video. I mean, there's sort of that. Well, obviously there's the erotic scenes, but then there's that cheesy bit at the start where they pull up outside the house in, I think it's like a Cadillac or something, big, big open.
Is there not a bit in the video where they're like giving each other Christmas gifts? It's so cringe.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god.
Yeah, but that reminds me of a Time for Change video with Robbie and Ida opening their Christmas presents.
Yeah.
And then there's that spotlight at the end. That's kind of, there's a spotlight that appears on them on the bed after they've finished, and then the camera sort of zooms back out of the room and then like finishes on the door handle of the hotel room. It's very purposely cheesy. It's not purposely cheesy.
Well, it's meant to be like a 1940s 50s type spoof, except they wouldn't have had that raunchy scene in it, would they?
Nowhere near. They wouldn't have been allowed to lie on the bed.
But I do like, there's one moment, 52 seconds in, I made a note of it, where Robbie is supposedly doing his sexy look at Nicole, and his smouldering look, And he does say later that he actually just looks like he wants to murder her. And that his smouldering look wasn't very successful.
Looked like a psycho killer look instead.
Yeah. And I commented that his pajamas in the video, it'd be cool if he could wear them at the next Under the Radar concert.
Yeah.
They're really something.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I
they're
like,
yellow.
does Nicole do one of them not wear like like the golf jumpers without the sleeves? What are those called?
Yeah, tank tops, are they?
But it's like a knitted one. Do one of them not wear one of those in?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in that video.
It's a great video.
Yeah.
It was directed
I love
by
the
Vaughan
Christmas
Arnell
tree.
as well, so
Yeah.
Vaughan knows what he's doing with these videos. Very, very clever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So should we go on to the next song?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
So let's talk about Do Nothing Till You Hear From Me.
This is one of my favourites from the album.
Ah.
I've got about 2 or 3 favourites, and this is one of them.
Ah,
I
interesting.
love this,
Cool.
especially the Louis Armstrong version. I do like Rob's version too, but the Louis Armstrong one, because that was a favourite of mine before
Okay.
Robbie.
Oh, right.
So
I haven't heard that version, the Louis Armstrong one.
So you must have been mega excited to see this coming up on the album then, if you
Oh,
really
yeah,
liked the song
yeah.
before.
yeah, because I didn't really know Robbie before it, so I was like, I wouldn't have thought, oh, I'd love him to do this or I'd love him to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, I hope he hasn't messed that up.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I hope he didn't make a mess. Oh, I like that. He better not have turned that into something I don't like.
So the music was composed by Duke Ellington in 1940, with words added later by Bob Russell. Nat King Cole recorded his version in 1944, and it's also been covered by Bing Crosby, Ella Fitzgerald, Louis Armstrong, Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh, Sammy. I love Sammy.
Oh, yeah. And after finishing recording the vocals, Rob screams, "Fucking hell, that was fucking amazing," and goes out to the orchestra saying he's found his spiritual home. Harold Jones on drums said, "I'm just glad to hear a young man doing this old music because all these great tunes are just laying in the dust and it's going to take someone to revitalise them and sing them. I've been dreaming of this guy and possibility because the world needs to hear more of this kind of music, especially from the young people." So good old Harold Jones there, Kelly. Do you agree with that quote?
Yes.
Steve Sidwell said, "The sound in the room was incredible. The brass were just rocking. Robbie did a superb job. Recording went so well that when the song was finished, Rob requested a new backside, as I appear to have sung this one off."
It's a Robbie joke, isn't it? Yeah.
Rob performed this song on his Swings Both Ways tour of 2014 with his dad. Did you enjoy that?
Oh,
when he sang it with his dad?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I always got the impression that this song was about a man who had an affair, but he was always light to the wife. It's not true. It's not true. Only believe what I tell you.
Ah.
So when they done it as a duet, I was like, so if they both had affairs then. Yeah. But yeah, it kind of made me like re-look at the song.
Yeah. I haven't really listened to the lyrics that deeply to think about what it was about.
No.
Yeah.
I listened to Duke Ellington's 1940 version because I was just interested to listen to a song that is kind of old by today's standards, and it had a 1-minute intro just before the lyrics even kicked in.
Yeah.
And I guess it's I don't know about you can tell us about Louis Armstrong's version in a moment, but his is a bit slower and more relaxed, and it's got a bit more of a jazz wah 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 sort of vibe to it, you know, that 40s sort of sound. It's obviously it's like a remastered version, so you can still hear the record crackling and the kind of crackle of the recording on it. But that scratchy sort of sound seems to add to it. So yeah, it was interesting listening back to that.
I think Louis' tone of voice just makes everything sound like amazing.
Yeah.
You know his songs straight away, do you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do. Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. But yeah, I knew that version before Rob's version.
Right.
So I do love them both, but like Louis, his version will always be one of my favourites.
Yeah.
Just of all time, not just swing, just favourite
Right.
songs of all time.
Ah.
Yeah.
I really like it.
I love it. Yeah.
So you know at the end of the song where he says, "And don't tell your mama." Well,
yeah.
when he for some reason when he's it gets to the end of Mac the Knife, I always hear that "and don't tell your mama" in my head at the end of Mac the Knife.
Right, because you think it just fits.
Yeah.
You're waiting
Yeah.
for it.
And
Yeah.
then when he does let's go
There's a
shopping.
song on the Christmas album.
Isn't it
Yeah.
Let's Go Shopping?
And I wait on him saying, "And don't tell your mama."
Yeah.
So you would
No,
say
Yeah, me and Kelly.
you both think the same.
Yeah, because I think I've discussed that in chat with
I
you before.
always wait for it. Yeah.
It just in my head, I feel like that is going to come, and then it obviously doesn't. It only comes
Yeah.
in this song.
It must be the same music or
Yeah.
something towards the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the way it ends, it just I don't
Yeah.
know. Feels like it belongs
So
there.
if you hear that Christmas present live, then you two are there singing.
And don't tell your mama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that everyone who listens to this now listens to that song and they're like, "Oh my God, yeah."
Yeah,
But it would sound so good on the end of it, wouldn't it?
yeah, it would.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just you thinking that, and not just me.
No.
Yeah, it's let's not go shopping, wasn't it? Yeah,
Oh,
did I say
right.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, next song.
Yeah.
Should
Yeah.
we talk about the next one? So the next one is "It Was a Very Good Year." Skip.
You know what?
What do you think about that?
It was
Kelly?
really, really beautiful what they done on Live at the Albert Hall.
Yeah, it was.
You know, but it's so fucking boring.
Yeah.
Like, I could fall asleep listening to that song.
Yeah.
It's so slow.
It's one of those that if it comes on shuffle, I'll always skip it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, as
Do
you
you know what?
say, it's
It
done
is-
very well. It's beautiful, but yeah, it
Yeah.
is a bit boring.
It's a good song, but Jesus.
Yes.
At least, like, it's just too slow.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear more about this
Okay,
song
well, let's
that you
write-
clearly
let's-
both
yeah.
really enjoy.
So it's written by Irvin Drake in 1961. It was written for his wife to be Edith Vincent Bermain, a showgirl he was dating, who he eventually married 20 years after the song was written. Originally recorded by Bob Shane with the Kingston Trio, it was made famous by Frank Sinatra with his version in D minor, which won a Grammy for Best Male Vocal Performance in 1966 and made number 28 on the Billboard Hot 100.
When Rob went back to London, one of the musicians he'd worked with in LA, Chuck Berghofer, who had played double bass for Sinatra, had been left so impressed he contacted the Sinatra estate, suggesting the duet with Frank. David Enthoven said, "It was down to those musicians that the estate got in touch, nothing to do with us. It was the musicians who pushed it through, said, 'Look, you've got to let Robbie do a duet.' The instrumental backing is sampled from the original Sinatra recording, the first two verses sung by Robbie and the third and fourth by Sinatra using his original vocals. Rob said, 'They liked what we were doing and asked if I'd like to sing with Sinatra. I was so overwhelmed, I cried. It's a dream come true for me. I just hope Frank likes it.'"
So, I mean, it's absolutely amazing that Robbie got to sing with one of his idols. But
Yeah.
that's all that I love about it.
You know, I do feel a bit bad about judging it now, but nah.
As I've said before, on the Robbie Williams Rewind podcast, all opinions are, welcome. So you're allowed to say what you want, as long as we're not doing any slander.
it's a really nice story. It's a really nice song. I do love what they done at the Albert Hall with it.
Oh yeah.
Like, that was just amazing.
Well, I hear what you're both saying about this track, but let's face it, Rob's voice on this one is just incredible.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
He seems, I mean, it's like all of the songs on the album, but particularly when I think about the Albert Hall performance, he just seems super, super natural singing this. I can only assume that he's been singing it all of his life, because it almost just seems to ooze out of him. You know, he just embodies it, and it's not in the way that, you know, he's been singing it for years. It just seems very natural.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, Rob's very good at telling a story, and this song is a story.
Yeah,
it
so
is.
It's like,
and I must admit, I didn't really know what the story. You know, you listen to a song, you've heard it all your life, and then you start looking at the lyrics properly, like we do for the research, and you start seeing it in a different light. And it kind of seems stupid for me to say this now, but the song is essentially about going out with girls, right? And I kind of knew those were the lyrics beforehand, but I became really ultra aware of it. And now I also realise that the lyrics are making a play on the words of "very good year." And I hadn't hadn't twigged either. You know, similar to when people say, well, this wine is a very good year. I don't know why that never really clicked with me. I'm sure Lucy
it did.
It had with you.
Yeah.
But I also
talking
think
about vintage wine and all that,
I also think how he finishes the song is really clever. The song goes from, you know, 17 small town girls, 21 city girls, 35 blue-blooded girls. And I think it's a stroke of genius to have Frank Sinatra's original version blended into this track. I mean, if they hadn't have suggested it, sounds as though it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Because as David Enthoven said, he didn't push for it. And then, just live, it's quite emotional, I think. And I like the lyrics at the end where it talks about, now I think of my life as vintage wine from fine old kegs, from the brim to the dregs. It poured sweet and clear. It was a very good year. I mean, it's just great storytelling, as you said, Kelly. It's just great.
Yeah, it is. It's a really nice story.
I don't know, maybe because Frank's talking about the autumn of his life and, you know, he's now dead. It sort of makes it feel a bit depressing to me.
Yeah.
Listening to it now. But anyway, that's me.
Yeah. Also, you know, it shows that you can measure your life by the different people that you went out with over the years, you know?
Yeah.
Small town girls, city girls, blue-blooded girls.
Yeah.
Anyway, you both thought it was quite boring, so let's move on.
Yeah.
I've tried to silver line it a little bit with my comments, but, you know. But what a classic for Robbie to be involved with. I mean, not many people get the rights to actually sing with Frank Sinatra. So that was quite...
Yeah, or with anyone dead.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Usually their memory's preserved and that's it, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
So, shall we move on?
Yeah.
To Straighten Up and Fly Right.
This is my other favourite.
Right.
I love this song.
Why?
It's just, the minute it starts, you just smile.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, and it's another one that tells a good story.
Yeah, it
like,
does.
you straight away, you imagine the buzzard and the monkey.
Yeah.
Like, flying around.
Yeah.
The poor monkey getting picked up by the buzzard.
The lyrics here are such fun, aren't they?
Yeah, I love this tune. It's like nice and upbeat as well.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was originally...
It's almost a bit cheeky. Like, there's almost a cheek to it.
Yeah, it
Oh,
suits
definitely.
Robbie in that respect, doesn't it?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So it was written by Nat King Cole and Irving Mills in 1943, and it was one of the first hits for Nat King Cole Trio. Based upon a playful story Cole's pastor father would sometimes tell from the pulpit. A buzzard takes different animals for a joyride when he gets hungry, and he throws them off and eats them for dinner. A monkey who had observed this trick goes for a ride. He wraps his tail around the buzzard's neck and gives the buzzard a big surprise by nearly choking him to death. It was also covered by Sammy Davis Jr. Rob said, "It's become something of a personal motto for me, and I love that line. Your story's so touching, but it sounds just like a lie."
Like a lie. Yeah.
He sings that bit so well, doesn't he?
I'm pretty sure I reckon I was told this story at school, because just as I was reading that, it brings back some memories about you know, being told, watch out for the buzzard.
Yeah.
Don't be eaten by the buzzard.
It's a weird kind of song, isn't it, though?
Yeah.
A funny story.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of I get a lot of personality from the song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I think there's lots of brass instruments in it, and they give it quite a sort of upbeat feel, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It's definitely one of my favourites on the album.
Yeah. It's
and
great
you
fun.
could imagine like dancing to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you wish that you'd been alive in the 40s to join all of those
totally.
dances?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you were in a previous life, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quite possibly.
I think you were there, Kelly.
Yeah.
And I was listening to this and I was wondering whether, I don't know whether there's anything to do with it at all, but I was wondering whether it's playing on the term, you've got a monkey on your back. You know, when people say you've got a monkey on your back, which means you're carrying a burden or a problem or something difficult to get rid of. But then again, the buzzard's actually the bad, the evil one in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the buzzard's on the monkey's back.
Exactly.
No, the monkey's on the buzzard's back, isn't it?
Yeah, but I know what Kelly means.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
The buzzard's the bad, the villain, really. And then the monkey gets the better of the buzzard.
Yeah.
And the other thing I noted was, if it wasn't for the instrumental part of this song, the song would probably only be about 2 minutes long in total.
Yeah.
Which says something for the
it's
songs
a short song.
of that era. They were
Plus,
a little bit shorter.
All the lyrics are the same in it.
Yeah.
It's really just the same verse over and over.
Yeah, it is.
It's really good though. I love it.
Should we go on to the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah? Next one is
next?
Well, Did You Ever? So it was written by Cole Porter for his 1939 musical Do Barry Was a Lady, where it was introduced by Betty Grable and Charles Walters. Written as a duet with the pair exchanging bad news and each shrugging off the other's tidbits in favour of a good time. The song was featured in the 1956 movie High Society as Frank Sinatra and Bing Crosby's party piece, which is the best known version of the song. Robbie sings it as a duet with John Lovitz from Saturday Night Live. Lovitz said, "The song is two guys having this bitchy conversation at an elegant soiree. It's perfectly written, but then Cole Porter wrote it. So what do you expect?"
In You Know Me, Rob said, "A friend of mine was good friends with John Lovitz. I never envisioned at the start of the project how big things were going to be. It was just that. Does John sing? Get John to come down." And he did. And he did a really good job. That's one of my favourite swing songs. Have you heard It's in the Stars? It's Christmas once again. You're off school, you're watching High Society, and you're lost in the glamour of it all. And then there you are, 10 years later, trying to portray the same sort of glamour that was so infectious when you were eating clementines and roasting chestnuts.
Have you ever seen High Society? I haven't.
No, but I have seen like that.
Their duet. Yeah.
I watched. I watched the clip. Of the actual song.
Yeah.
You can kind of get the measure of what the film's like from that, can't you?
They done that. They done it on the swing tour, did they?
Yeah, they did.
Did they sing?
I'm sure they did,
and they do reenact a lot of it, like just like is he not behind a bar at some point and stuff, and they're holding a drink and
champagne at the
swapping
bar
news. Yeah.
One of them sat in a chair and then they do a bit of tap dancing.
Yeah.
When they say grab a line, I do often wonder, does that mean cocaine? But did they have like cocaine back then?
Well, possibly.
I just can't work out what that would actually mean otherwise.
I doubt that was a reference to that back then.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could have been.
Is there not quite a few lyrics in there that could be a bit naughty
Yeah.
in this song?
Well,
Yeah.
she got pinched in the Astor bar.
She got pinched in the ass.
But I always thought
I
that
love
was
that.
she got pinched in the ass so hard.
Is that your misheard lyric?
Yeah.
I love the fact it's in there because obviously...
What is the Astor bar?
Well, it is Astor Bar, but they do place the emphasis on ass,
Yeah.
even in the original.
Yeah.
And, they do. And obviously they got away with it in high society. Yeah.
I think Robbie and John do a great version together, and they were amazing at the Albert Hall together singing this, weren't they?
Oh.
Yeah. It's such a good duet.
Yeah. So
They-
unexpected, isn't it, with
Yeah.
John?
They did a flawless performance. And I mean, I know Robbie is a great actor and so is John Lovitz, but they, to do that live, and there's a comedy sketch, there's bits of dance going on.
Yeah.
They're talking over each other at some points. They did it justice. It was
Yeah, they
very,
nailed
very
it.
good.
Nailed
It was almost like a show within the show.
Yeah.
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 Also find it interesting that Betty Grable is mentioned
Yeah.
here.
Because that's a lyric from Teenage Millionaire.
Yeah.
Ah.
So making connections, yeah, that is in Teenage
Yeah.
Millionaire.
Which obviously why Betty Grable was in his mind when he wrote Teenage Millionaire, because
Yeah.
of high society.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I also noticed as I was watching that High Society clip, Bing Crosby plays it really drunk, and he starts off behind the bar, and he's actually sort of singing all slurred, and it's quite hilarious the way that they're dancing around in the middle of the video. And as I said, I think Robbie and John did do it justice actually, because it's it's part of the song that.
Yeah. What I like about it is men back in those days, they were always businessmen, and basically these two men are just gossiping.
Yeah.
They're just being absolute gossips. Like, it's so funny. You're like, oh.
It's hilarious. About the
Yeah.
lady who got knocked down by an avalanche, but she got up and carried
Yeah.
on skiing.
She's game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're just absolutely gossiping.
Yeah.
We need to watch the film.
Yeah.
Been
probably.
inspired by this now. We need to watch the film, because I'm sure it's quite funny actually.
Yeah, probably is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we go on to Mr. Bojangles?
How can you not love Mr. Bojangles? Oh my goodness. So I love this song because I love the Sammy Davis Jr. version,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's just amazing. I'm sure, did Sammy Davis Jr. not do like a tap dance to it as well? Or
Yeah, I think-
someone has.
I think he may have done. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember seeing that on YouTube.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, it's amazing. I love this song.
Well, let's find out a little bit more about Mr. Bojangles. Originally written and recorded by American country music artist Jerry Jeff Walker for his 1968 album. He was inspired to write it after an encounter with a street performer in New Orleans jail on the 4th of July 1968, when he'd been arrested for drinking misdemeanors. A homeless man called himself Mr. Bojangles to conceal his true identity from the police, and he told a story about his dog and did a tap dance to lighten the mood in the cells. Mr. Bojangles was the nickname used by Bill Robinson, a black tap dancer who appeared in many movies in the 1930s, including with Shirley Temple in Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm. After Robinson's success, many black street dancers became known as Bojangles.
In Jerry Jeff Walker's book, Gypsy Songman, Walker explains, one of the guys in the cell jumped up and said, "Come on, Bojangles, give us a little dance." Bojangles wasn't so much a name as a category of itinerant street entertainer known back as far as the previous century. The old man said, "Yes, hell yes." He jumped up and started clapping a rhythm, and he began to dance. I spent much of that long holiday weekend talking to the old man, hearing about the tough blows life had dealt him, telling him my own dreams. About later writing the song, he said, And here it came, just sort of tumbling out. On a night when the rest of the country was listening to the Beatles, I was writing a waltz about an old man and hope. It was a love song. In a lot of ways, Mr. Bojangles is a composite. He's a little bit of several people I met for only moments of a passing life. He's all those I met once and will never see again and will never forget.
Rob introduced this song at the Albert Hall, saying it was about Bill Bojangles Robinson, whose coffin was carried by Cole Porter, Duke Ellington and Irving Berlin. Technically, that's not true, as the writer of the song, Jerry Jeff Walker, stated it was about the homeless man he'd met in the cell that someone else had called Mr. Bojangles, nicknamed after Bill Bojangles Robinson. You know, but it's a storytelling.
It's that storytelling, yeah. It made it sound
Bit
better.
of theatre. A version by US country rock band Nitty Gritty Dirt Band reached number 9 on the Hot 100 in 1971. Sammy Davis Jr. sang it at Richard Nixon's invitation at a concert at the White House in 1973.
So Rob released this as a double A-side single with I Will Talk and Hollywood Will Listen in Central and Eastern Europe only on the 11th of March 2002. So I actually ordered that off eBay
Oh,
a
right.
while ago.
Because it wasn't released in the UK.
No.
Mm.
Yeah. Rob said, my best moment is pulling off and singing Bojangles, because I'd been listening to Sammy Davis Jr. sing it for years. Sammy's phrasing and the feel on it is ridiculous, and I didn't think I was going to get anywhere near to it. In fact, I didn't even think that song was going to make it onto the album, because I didn't think I was going to be able to sing it, and I've pulled it off. Al Schmitz, the sound engineer, said, when he does Mr. Bojangles, there's a little quality that comes out that reminded me a little bit of the way Sammy was. There's a little edge to his voice, almost a little tear in there at times.
Oh.
He does sing it amazingly, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does. It's such a beautiful song. I love the bit in the song where it talks about him and his dog being together for years and then the dog dying and the fact that
He's still
after
grieving.
20 years he still grieves, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
because I've got pets,
Yeah.
like that bit just always
Yeah.
touches me. I love, it's such a beautiful
moving.
song, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the whistling is always fun when he does
Yeah.
it live.
We know
Yeah.
that Robbie likes to, challenge himself to a bit of whistling.
Yeah.
Or not.
Difficult live, isn't it?
Well, he quite often they play the whistling in, don't
Yeah.
they? And then he pretends that he didn't know that.
But it's another one of those songs that's just telling a really nice story.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
obviously, it's a nice story. It is a sad story, but it's being told in a nice way.
Yeah.
There's something very clever about the arrangements and the lyrics in this song. It just, even though there's sad bits in it, it just makes me feel happy. I hear it and I'm like, I feel happy.
I think, is it because of the whistling? I don't know.
It just, it always brings me up. And I find that just fascinating. And I think this is one, I don't know whether it is my favourite on the whole album. We'll come to that later on, but it's certainly one of my faves. I just really like it. And Robbie's just great on it. And he does some very skillful
I just
whistling,
have
which is all
so
part of
much
it.
empathy for Mr. Bojangles.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to grab him and give him a hug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his little old shoes and his baggy shirt and his silver hair. Get over here, Mr. Bojangles. You just feel so sorry for him, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can hear in the lyrics in the song that he's just had such a shit life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But still dancing.
Yeah.
Still tap dancing.
Yeah,
still going for it.
exactly. There's still some beauty in all the depression.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the power of music, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It
Yeah.
always takes me back to that swing tour and the tap dancing, and it's just incredible.
I think there is, and maybe I'm jumping ahead here a bit, but when we were talking about preparing for this with you, Kelly, there is something about these songs that they're even better live. Like they're great to listen to the studio
definitely.
recorded versions, of course, but there's something about the live performance, particularly here, because there's a story, there's a dance. I don't know, it really gets to you even more, doesn't it, when you're experiencing the whole thing. And
the good thing about Swing Live is, so every time you go to a Robbie concert, you'll always going to have heard the songs. Mm-hmm. You've heard pop live. You've heard everything live. But when you go to a swing show, you've not heard that live before. It's new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's old.
Yeah.
So it's like, obviously, unless you're like us and you've seen Rob several times, you have heard it before.
Yeah.
But when it comes on, it's always different from the rest of the set list.
Yeah. Which is another reason why Vegas was such fun as well. There was the swing bits in there, which really suited.
I was so happy. Yeah, I was so happy. I really wanted swing. That was such a perfect stage for swing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, yeah.
He had to, didn't he, in Vegas? He had to.
Absolutely.
You know, tip his hat
he
the
did not swing on that stage. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
So shall we talk about One for My Baby?
Yeah.
Written by...
It's up there with It Was a Very Good Year.
Same.
Here we go again.
I mean, that road is very long, isn't it?
Yeah.
That one more for the road, and that road is like never ending.
Oh, I can't wait for the comments on this one then. So written by Harold Arlen and Johnny Mercer for the musical movie The Sky's the Limit in 1943, it was first performed by Fred Astaire. Frank Sinatra also recorded it several times in his career, first in 1947. Rob sung it with 83-year-old Bill Miller, who played on the song originally and was Frank's accompanist for over 30 years. It was just him and Bill together in the studio where it was originally recorded. Rob sung it with Max Beasley on his Weekends of Mass Distraction tour in 2003, until he decided to take it out of the set list. At first, Max thought Rob was winding him up, and Rob lets him think that until the next morning, when he admits he really wanted to drop it from the set list because he thought the crowd were getting bored.
I wonder
no
why.
one agrees here, obviously, with that comment. Max accepts it, and unhappily, but with dignity. Good one, Max. Well done.
Well,
So, Lucy and Kelly, what do you think about this?
I think Rob was probably right to drop it from the set list.
Yeah, absolutely.
Poor Max. It was
Aw.
obviously
Yeah,
his moment
it-
shrunk. But
Yeah, for me, it's definitely with It Was a Very Good Year on that album.
same.
It's just so slow and boring.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Tell it how it is, Kelly.
Yeah.
I think it's the kind of song I can imagine like sitting in a, not that you can smoke in a jazz club anymore, but sitting in a
In like a
smoky
smoky
jazz
bar.
club,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
underground somewhere, and it's
Yeah.
like 3:00 in the morning, and everyone's had a lot to drink, and the singer comes on and sings that song, you know, and it's like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
but not in the middle of a big concert.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's just so depressing. Did you say it was for a movie called Sky's the Limit?
Yeah.
Sky's the limit, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that sounds like a happy movie, does
Yeah,
it?
it does.
Yeah.
You'd never think,
Well-
this song is so depressing and slow.
Hopefully
and
it's got its
you
ups
wouldn't
and
put
downs.
it with a title of Sky's the Limit.
Well, what I found interesting was that when Rob sings this at the Albert Hall, he sat down smoking a cigarette. And I saw a
Yeah.
YouTube of Frank Sinatra singing it in exactly the same style.
Right.
Well, he was stood up, I think, at the Royal Festival Hall in 1962. And it was a very similar kind of way that he performed it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
with the
Well,
cigarette.
that's
and
the thing
everything.
with this song. That's how, like, slow and boring it is. You can't sit and do other
Yeah.
things. Even when you're singing it. Like, you could sit and have a drink and a smoke.
Yeah.
Because you know that the song's still going to be there when your drink and your cigarette is finished. Yeah.
Well, I
It's like never ending.
wow, I'm feeling a lot of emotion here about this song.
a very long and winding road.
Well,
It
okay.
never bloody ends.
Let me add a slightly different perspective. I do see what you're both saying. I do, but I think it's a nice piece of storytelling. And I went back and started to look at the lyrics because I do agree with what you're saying about it being a bit slow and a bit boring. So I was kind of, well, what is this song actually about? Because probably I hadn't paid much attention before. And
that's because every time you hear it, your mind just wanders.
well, true. That's true.
Yeah.
So I paraphrase, 2:45, another drink, for the road. Here's a little story, nickel in the jukebox. I could tell you some things, but as a gentleman, I can't. So just make it one for my baby and one more for the road. I'm a poet. You won't listen. Joe's getting a bit anxious and wants to close the bar, and I hope you didn't mind me bending your ear. There you go.
Well, that's basically what the song's
That's
about.
the whole song in 2 sentences. I try and do that just to boil it down a bit, you know.
I hope you didn't mind me bending your ear. That's what the song's like, though. It's just like you're listening to someone moaning.
Yeah. The thing is, Kelly, that bartender wants to close the fucking bar.
Yeah, the bartender
Doesn't want to listen to that moaning. Just wants
Thanks
to
for the
close.
cheer. He's probably cheering at him to get out.
Oh, bless though. And then at the end, if you listen to the track, even on the studio
Does he not
recorder,
get quite emotional during
Yeah.
that one?
he does.
Robbie says at the end, wow. And then you hear Bill Miller
Yeah.
say, that's the general idea? And Robbie goes,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the general idea.
And he's-
Sounding like really taken aback and really emotional that had just
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can appreciate it was a lovely moment for Robbie playing with Bill, but
Yeah.
I just don't really appreciate the song very much.
No.
Do you know what? It's probably one of those songs that's better to sing rather than to listen to.
Yeah.
Because if you're singing, you're really in the song and
Mhm.
you're part of it. Whereas if you're just listening,
Yeah.
you're not quite involved, are you?
No.
Okay.
Let's go.
Swiftly
Let's go
moving
on to the next song.
Next.
I say swiftly. We've berated
nice-
that song
nice song,
for quite
though.
a while. Lovely song.
Oh, dear.
Lucy.
I like how me and Lucy are sharing a lot of
Yeah, I wasn't expecting
similarities
Yes,
on
you
these
are.
songs.
I was thinking
Yeah.
that you were going to say you loved them all, so I'm quite pleased that you.
Yeah.
I'm just here to
No.
provide a bit of balance every now and again. But
Yeah.
So Lucy.
All right, the next one is Things. Rob sings this as a duet with actress Jane Horrocks, who's best known as playing Bubble in Ab Fab. The CD booklet says it was recorded in London and in under 2 hours, and that the duo gelled instantly. Rob said, "Jane's got such brilliant comic timing, it was dead easy. She made the song come alive for me." He asked her to sing on his album after she had previously asked him to sing on her album with That Old Black Magic. She performed it with him live on stage at the Royal Albert Hall. It was written in 1962. Bobby Darin's song hit number 3 in the US, number 2 in the UK, and number 3 in the first ever official Irish chart in October 1962. Later, it was sung as a duet by Dean Martin and Nancy Sinatra in the 1967 TV special Move In with Nancy. So yeah, that's the facts.
What do you
This
think
one.
about this one then, Kelly?
What a great duet this is.
Yeah.
I love this song. It's another one that's like you smile instantly as soon as it comes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you bob along as soon as it starts. I don't actually know the Nancy and
Dean Martin.
was it Bobby?
Dean
Martin.
Martin.
Oh, Dean.
Yeah. No, I
I
don't.
don't I don't know that version, but I do like the Jerry Lee Lewis one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And but the Jerry Lee Lewis one, it's so strange because it's almost like a country version.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's got a country twang to it. But yeah, I love the chemistry between Rob and Jane.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I love the bit at the end where
They're
it's
arguing.
like they're just like back and forward to each other. Yeah.
And him saying, she's saying, "You wanted me to sound like Kylie," and he's like, "No, you were obviously thinking
Yeah.
about Jean Whitfield."
Yeah.
Jean Whitfield is
Jean-
in Ab Fab as well. For people who don't know, she played
Oh, okay.
Mother,
Yes.
and she was also in Terry and June. a sitcom in the UK that was very popular in the 80s, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe the 90s.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just brilliant together, aren't they?
Yeah, it's great. And do you know what? It's just such a beautiful love story. It's like, it's so cute.
Reminiscing, isn't it, about
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
love.
You could imagine it's like an older couple's memories.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I listened to Bobby Darin's original version, and it's quite similar to Rob's, actually.
Yeah.
But obviously just with Bobby
Yeah.
singing, but he's got like a female kind of backing singer doing some of Jane's bits.
I listened to that as well. I think the female part is 2 or 3 singers harmonising. So
Yeah.
it sounds
Yeah.
slightly different.
Yeah,
It's
it
as though
does.
it's as though he's the main singer
Yeah.
and they're kind of harmonising, whereas Rob's version is more like a duet.
Yeah. And they did it so well together at the Albert Hall.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was another classic performance. I mean, flawless. I mean, just flawless.
Yeah. 'Cause they're really telling the story when they perform it, aren't they?
Yeah.
And like the way they change the tone of voice to tell certain parts. And you know that bit where she's like, yeah, yeah.
Oh.
I can't remember what bit that is, but there's a bit where she's like, yeah, yeah. I really like that bit.
She is just a brilliant actress and singer as well. I mean,
Yeah.
so talented.
Yeah.
Just,
She's so talented, yeah.
yeah. I obviously she's played lots and lots of parts, but her playing Bubble in Ab Fab, I mean, I find that hard to get out of my head because she is such a distinctive character in that, and I think she played that just so well.
Yeah.
I still laugh just thinking about her, and how she was in that. Brilliant.
Yeah. Good combination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots
Great
of fun.
chemistry.
And it was like unexpected as
definitely.
well, really. You wouldn't expect to have seen her singing with him.
No.
Because I wasn't even
But
aware of that old Black Magic before
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have expected any of the
that.
duets.
No, true, yeah. Well, apart from Johnny,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were unique.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great song. It's a really feel-good song.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So shall we move from that to Ain't That a Kick in the Head?
Yeah.
Yes. It's like, it's the other Mac the Knife. Everyone knows it.
Yeah.
It's always the one that everyone will know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets covered on the old X Factor by the contestants.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
So this was written in 1960 with music by Jimmy Van Heusen and lyrics by Sammy Kahn, specifically for the film Ocean's 11, obviously the original version.
Yeah.
Performed by Dean Martin, his single was released before the film but didn't chart. Despite this, it's one of Dean's signature tunes and features on many of his greatest hits. Yeah, that is surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird.
That is surprising because his version is so good.
Yeah.
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 And it's such a huge song, you would have thought
Yeah.
that it had done better at the time.
Yeah.
Maybe it was before its time
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
contentious around it. This is a personal favourite of Robbie's, who said, Frank was the voice, but Dean was the Don. Robbie's rendition prompted the veteran jazz drummer and keystone of the Count Basie Orchestra, Harold Jones, to comment, "The kid really gets the swing thing." Video footage of recordings shows Rob with a cigarette in hand while singing his vocals. So, what do we think about Ain't That a Kick in the Head? Lucy, do you want to go first?
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah, I love it as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. It's one of the good ones on the album, isn't it? It's rightfully on there. Although you say everyone kind of knows it, there's a reason for that. It's because it's one of the better swing songs, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I like the way he sings the line, "My life is going to be beautiful." I like that bit.
Yeah.
Especially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do like that bit, but I can't, I'm not going to try and sing it, but I know the bit you mean.
Yeah.
Feel
The way
free.
he sings it.
Yeah. I'm not going to try and sing it.
Yeah.
It takes me back, this song, very vividly to the second night that I went to the Swings Both Ways tour in Belfast when I was front row at the very front, stood next to Katie Buckby.
Yes.
And
Oh, I love Katie Buckby.
yeah. So Katie from episode 2, that is, for our listeners. And while I was stood next to her and he was singing this song, she did an air punch at Rob, and then he sang, I hugged her, she punched back, instead of I hugged her and she hugged back, because she just punched at him. And that memory is just so vivid in my mind of him singing that bit. So yeah, that's my memory for this song.
Yeah.
Why is this song special for you then, Kelly?
I just really like it. It's like you really get the impression of the guy that's singing it. Like he's so happy and he goes to head and he's still dreaming about whatever still just happened, and it's obviously this woman just totally. It's obviously someone in the early stages of a relationship.
Right.
When everything's still very happy and yay, and this is so great. That's the impression I get when I hear it.
Yeah.
So can I ask you both? I mean, a kick in the head in this song means a good thing rather than actually being kicked in the head. Because when I was looking back at the lyrics, when he says, ain't that a kick in the head, he's talking about positive things. Do I read that?
Yeah.
Did I read that right?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know, because originally it was one of those, again, which I hadn't really thought too much about it. I knew the song, but kick in the head is kind of like a positive kick in the head. It's like a, yeah. Or maybe it isn't, I don't know.
Yeah. No, but he's talking about, so the way I see it, so he's talking about love being a kick in the head. So basically, because you know what it's like when you first fall in love, it takes over.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
You know, when you're constantly thinking about, ain't love a kick in the head?
Yeah.
Right. It's doing your head in because it's taken your brain over, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of overrules the brain, does it?
Yes.
And there's that whole thing where people say, you know, you should listen to your head, but you listen to your heart.
Yes.
You know, sometimes when you listen to your heart, that's love giving you a kick in the head.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
That might be completely wrong, but
It sounds good to me.
that's the impression I get.
It was just like our first date, wasn't it? You got a big kick in the head there
Yeah.
when we heard something stupid.
Wait, was that one of the proper dates?
Yeah.
I'd have to classify it as one of the proper dates, not one of the improper ones.
What happened on your proper date? I got a kick in the head.
Anyway, moving on.
Okay, let's go on to They Can't Take That Away. Sung by Fred Astaire in the 1937 film Shall We Dance, to Ginger Rogers, who stays silent throughout. Later, Astaire and Rogers danced to it in their last film, The Barclays of Broadway, in 1949. This was written by George Gershwin, with lyrics by his brother Ira Gershwin. They Can't Take That Away received an Academy Award nomination for Best Original Song in 1937. Also covered by Perry Como, Bing Crosby, Ella Fitzgerald and Frank Sinatra. And Robbie obviously sings this with actor Rupert Everett, best known for appearing in My Best Friend's Wedding, for which he received a Golden Globe nomination.
When Rupert hosted the Royal Albert Hall show, he made a joke that he would like to have sex with Robbie. And then, using lurid language, according to the Daily Mail, he said, I bet everyone in this audience, regardless of their sexual orientation when they walked in tonight, would like to get down on all fours and be royally shagged by Mr. Robbie Williams. This apparently received 130 complaints to the BBC immediately after the show. Supposedly, the BBC had only received 9 complaints about bad language in the previous 3 months. A BBC spokesman said Rupert's script was supposed to be tongue-in-cheek. Compared to the number of viewers that they got, which was 7.3 million, it was only a small percentage that complained. I did think it was rather funny when he said that.
It was.
Very, hard-hitting, but very, very funny.
Well, I mean, there's always got to be controversy
I can
surrounding
understand
Robbie.
why some people took offence, but yeah.
Just the old dears watching didn't like it.
Well, I think it's
I can imagine.
it's the contrast, isn't it, of a
The
swing
swing,
show
yeah.
at the Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah.
You know, and then someone's using bad language and being a bit naughty.
Yeah.
But then again, Robbie's involved. So what on earth did they expect?
Yeah.
I know he didn't say it, but you know. So what do we think about this then, Kelly?
Yeah, do you know what? I like this song, but kind of, I'll listen to it, but I won't always remember it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I do like this song, though. There's some lyrics in this song. There's so these lyrics, because there's a light in me that shines brightly. They can try, but they can never take that away from me. I love those lyrics.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Yeah. Because it's basically, what is it, about love?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Is love the thing that it's saying you can't take that away from me? Or is it the light that shines? Oh no, it's a song about the light that shines brightly. Is that what they're saying you can't take away? I always thought this song was about love.
Well, I always thought it was about love.
So, long story short, in the film Shall We Dance, for some reason the characters had to go and get a divorce. Let's not go into it. And it's then the singer talking about, even though they're not married, there's a great deal of value that remains, and it's him singing about that.
Okay.
So there we go.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a love song.
Yeah. To be honest, I've just never really paid attention to that song.
Yeah.
Although I don't dislike it, but I
think it's quite fun. I like listening to them singing it together, especially having two men singing together.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was quite progressive, probably.
Yeah. Very.
Yeah.
Back then. I mean, I know it's like 2001, but still.
Yeah.
I'd say you didn't get many men singing duets together at that point.
Do you notice as well that so many of these songs were written for movies?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's they didn't really do so much the charts back then. That's how songs were known, because of movies.
Yes. If you got your song if you got attached into a movie, that was how you made it successful.
Yeah. Because people,
that was their medium, wasn't it?
Yeah, they watched movies
because it was before
listening to music wasn't such a thing unless it was live.
Yeah. Mm.
You didn't just switch on the radio in those days, did you?
No.
But you could watch a movie.
I guess that's why so many of them were so strong on the storytelling element. I mean, most songs tell a story, but these songs particularly do, don't they?
Yeah.
I like the I Ain't Flat, the band's sharp bit.
Yeah.
He sort of sings it.
The band's sharp.
There's actually some really nice lyrics in there.
Yeah.
I think it's a good, fun song. And I listened to Frank Sinatra's version. And there's a few differences. He's got a really strong trumpet intro in the beginning, so it's quite different. And then also I noticed that his version was only 1 minute 59 seconds. And so Robbie's version stretches it out to over 3 minutes with all the instrumentals and bits and pieces going on. Because, really these days you can't record a song that's like 1 minute and 59 seconds long. Everything has to be 3 minutes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me of... it's like a predecessor to the song Swings Both Ways that he sung with Rufus Wainwright. Yeah. Like, two men singing together.
Yeah.
Okay, should we go on to the next song now? Have You Met Miss Jones?
Yeah.
Written by Lorenz Hart and Richard Rodgers for the musical comedy I'd Rather Be Right in 1937. Also recorded by Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra. Rob was asked to sing this for the soundtrack of Bridget Jones's Diary by screenwriter Richard Curtis and music supervisor Nick Angel. They thought Rob was the only performer they wanted, a contemporary Sinatra, and Rob was excited to take up the challenge. In Somebody Someday, Josie said Rob loved it, sailed through it, saying, "God, this is easy. We should make an album." The idea developed momentum when Rob was in LA in May 2001, filming a short promo for We Are the Champions. Then, as we said earlier,
Hooray.
Jay Leno invited Rob onto his show to sing Have You Met Miss Jones, as Bridget was a massive hit in the USA and really enjoyed it. The Swing album developed from this song and gave Robbie the opportunity to express his love for all things swing.
Yes.
So without this song, we wouldn't be talking about this album.
This was the influence
Yeah.
that made it all happen.
I love this song because now, when I think of that song, I just think Ida is Miss Jones. Because it's like, just the way he speaks about her and about how they met and how he felt when they met. And it's like, all at once I lost my breath and all at once was scared to death. And then and we'll keep on meeting till I die. And it's like, it's just like the kind of stuff that he would say about Ida. Yeah. So I think when I hear that now, I just think of Rob and Ida.
I used to play this song over and over again on my Bridget Jones's soundtrack.
Yeah.
But not as much as Not of This Earth. But still, just loved it. Just loved the sound of it, and the brass instruments are great on it, aren't they?
Yeah.
I picked up on exactly the same lyrics as Kelly. I mean,
just
all at once I lost my breath. All at once was scared to death. And all at once I owned the earth and the sky.
Because it's like, love is such a terrifying thing, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's like, when you do meet someone, you're like, wow, but you're also like shitting yourself at the same time. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does it justice, this song, doesn't he?
Oh, totally.
Really suits him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a particular tone in his voice in this song that I don't think you often hear. It's quite different, isn't it? The way he's singing on this. He does it really super well.
He almost sings it like really factual.
Yeah.
Like he's putting it across as kind of like facts.
Yeah.
Whilst he's asking the questions.
Yeah.
And this song will always remind me of my friend Laura, who is a Robbie fan, the one I went to a lot of the concerts with.
Yeah.
And she had it played at her wedding because she became Mrs. Jones.
Mrs. Jones.
Oh.
So it wasn't a Miss Jones, it's Mrs. But
yeah. I like that though.
It works.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was one of the few Robbie songs that got played at her wedding because her husband's not into Robbie.
I was going to say, Ian didn't grab the mic and actually sing it for her. You know, it was played. Sure, he doesn't mind me saying that.
So, next song, shall we go on to Me and My Shadow?
Yes.
Oh, this is my favourite duet.
Yeah?
On the album?
Yeah.
It's
Although Things is a close second, but I really love Me and My Shadow.
Yeah, it's really great fun, isn't it?
So, Me and My Shadow was written by Dave Dreyer, Al Johnson, and Billy Rose in 1927. It's a cheeky reworking of Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr.'s 1962 Buddy Anthem, given a 21st century twist by Robbie and his then flatmate and best mate, Jonathan Wilkes. We'd be together with each other 24 hours a day if we could. The song really could have been written about us. According to the CD booklet, the ad-libs were live, the laughter was real. Originally recorded by Johnny Marvin, as well as Ted Lewis, later covered by loads of people, including Perry Como, Bing Crosby, Judy Garland, and more. Rob changed some of the lyrics from the original. Frank's line, "We're closer than Bobby is to JFK," was changed to "We're closer than Ricky to confessing he's gay."
I'd never actually realised he sung that until I was doing this research. I don't know why, it just went over my head.
I didn't know that either.
But it's true, Ricky Martin did come out as gay.
Yes.
If that's the Ricky he was referring
Oh,
to.
do you think he was referring to that?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a coincidence.
Frank's line, "We'll wind up at Jilly's right after Toots Shaw," was changed to "We'll start out at Stringy's and maybe Groucho's." Stringfellows in the Groucho Club.
So what do we think of Me and My Shadow?
I love it. Such a good duet. That everyone's had that best friend at some point in their life where it's like, yeah, it just describes the relationship, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, wherever you find him, you'll find me. Just look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's had that one person or one thing, just that one special friend or someone who they can relate to in the song. Yeah, the song does make me a bit sad now because they don't seem to have that anymore. You know?
Yeah, I know. I was going to say the same thing.
There is no Rob and Johnny anymore, is there? It seems to have gone a bit, which is a shame.
Pear-shaped. Yeah, when you
Especially
listen back to this.
Yeah, and when you listen back to what was just read there about what they both thought and felt, but it's still a good
never
song.
know what happened, but
yeah.
But I love how they sing on top of each other, harmonise, and they did it so well at the Albert Hall. It was just perfect.
Yeah, another flawless performance. And I don't have many comments for this, but I just think Robbie and Johnny do this song justice. And
they really do
doing it, and the
really
harmonies are great. I love that talky bit in the middle, and then they just carry on.
And there's just so much banter in the song, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's like
they
so
sung
funny.
it together on tour in 2006 as well, the Close Encounters tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I have a vivid memory of playing this song in the car with my grandma that Christmas 2001 when it came out. And because me and my gran lived in London, it was the first Christmas since my granddad had died. And so he would normally drive her down to my parents for Christmas. So I went and got her, and we drove to Poole together. And I thought, well, I'll have to play this album because she's not going to enjoy any of my other music. And she did really enjoy the album. But I do remember at the end when it got to the, Johnny talking about, I'll tell everyone you're gay, and Robbie nearly says, fuck off and all that. I tried to talk over that bit so that she didn't hear that bit. So that journey always comes back to me.
Oh, look at that field over there, Grandma.
It's just such a nice story of friendship, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 It's a great song.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
Okay, let's do Beyond the Sea, the last song on the album.
Yeah.
Written by Charles Trenet and Jack Lawrence. Beyond the Sea is the English language version of the French song La Mer by Charles Trenet, which was an ode to the sea. But Jack Lawrence wrote the English lyrics, changing it to a love song. It was made popular by Bobby Darin, again, in 1959. His single hit number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 8 in the UK.
And the CD booklet said that Robbie's version was recorded in LA with piano duties masterfully handled by jazz giant Jim Cox, who played each session without sheet music, making every take an improvised adventure. Note Rob's respectful nod to the sound of music in the coda.
I don't know what that means, but it said that in the CD booklet. So
and there we go.
And that's all the information I could find. After the Swing album had already been released, Rob agreed that this song could be used for Pixar's Finding Nemo movie. Robbie was given a private screening of the nearly completed film on the Disney lot in LA. Asked if he cried by a Disney employee, he said, "Yeah, well, I'm on medication now, so that stuff's not going to affect me these days." But I think they did all really enjoy the film. I bet his kids love watching Finding Nemo and then hearing Robbie sing at the end of it.
Well, my nephew at the time loved Finding Nemo. And I was trying to tell him, that's Robbie Williams singing that. Yeah, it's a great song. I love this song.
Oh, the song is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. And another one that's like such a nice love story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he sings it amazingly as well.
Yeah.
And I must admit, until you did your research. I didn't really know it was originally a French song.
No.
I mean, I guess, I'd heard it before, La Mer, and then I went back and I listened to Charles Trenet, La Mer, and it's quite nice hearing it in the original French words. It's a bit of just a little bit of a different arrangement, but it's really nice. And it starts like really simply for the first 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then he does it really quietly. And then this massive orchestra kicks in and he gets a lot more animated. So it's just this guy stood in front of a camera in black and white. But yeah, it's quite interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have much else to say about it, but
yeah,
it's a good song.
I do really like it, but
yeah,
there's not much more I could add to it. But it's a really beautiful love story.
Yeah.
It's really sweet, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 And then obviously following Beyond the Sea, there's 21 minutes of silence before some outtakes from the album's recording, which is like a secret track for this album, including hearing Rob and his special guests warming up and making silly noises, which is an understatement.
Yeah.
And Jane Horrocks saying, Kylie weren't like this, or the other Australian, the tall one. And it's nice hearing Rob saying to all the musicians, you've all made my dream come true. Yes, but it's not a bit of the album that I'll listen to. You can't, most of the time you can't be bothered to wait for 21 minutes or to fast forward it to that bit. I've only listened to it a few
has
times.
To be quite such a gap on these hidden tracks? I don't know, but
the hidden tracks were so much fun though. Do you remember you'd have the album on and then it finishes?
Yeah.
And then so you're like you just forget about it. Then suddenly
you shit yourself.
Yeah.
Let's just quickly talk about the Royal Albert Hall concert then. We've touched on it quite a lot. Some facts about it. So Robbie recorded his epic show with a 58-piece orchestra led by Steve Sidwell at the Albert Hall on the 10th of October 2001. It aired on the 17th of November on BBC One as One Night with Robbie Williams. He did a warm-up gig beforehand at Ronnie Scott's, and Richard Curtis helped put the script together. Tickets were up to £200 each. Guests in the audience. I bet it would be £1,000 now.
Well, for the Albert Hall?
Yeah. No, just for Robbie.
Oh, for Robbie, right, yeah.
Guests in the audience included Nicole Kidman, Bob Geldof, Roger Taylor, George Michael, Richard Curtis, Brian May, and Rob's mum, Jan.
Yeah.
Before going on, he said, I'm a dog's mess. I really can't do it. I'm just not up to it. But when the cameras arrived, he said, I've got pre-match nerves, but if I'm on form, I'll just knock them fucking dead. I battered them at Ronnie Scott's, and I feel that that's going to happen this evening. The Albert Hall is about to get fucking battered.
Fucking battered. Rob told Michael Bublé in Reveal that it was truly, truly expensive, and we lost a lot of money on it. And then the DVD came out, and all was good.
Yeah.
He tells his manager Michael that they did it on one night without re-recording anything. That was performing on my nerves by the skin of my teeth and by the seat of my pants. Well, you wouldn't have known.
Oh, it was incredible.
Absolutely incredible.
Spot on performances, wasn't it, for every song?
Yeah, it's no wonder it's like the most successful music video, is it?
Yeah.
Music DVD.
DVD, yeah.
What a show.
He said in You Know Me, I got that thin with the worry that the shirt was now too big for me. I had one chance to get it right, nowhere to hide. I performed completely on the tip of my toes on adrenaline, like my life depended upon it. Up on stage, you can't read how well it's going, how badly it's going, what you sound like, whether you're in key, whether they're buying it. I didn't actually realise how well I'd done until I saw a version of it back 2 months later. That night I got off stage. Everybody's going, way! We went straight back home, had a Chinese meal and went to bed.
The stage set included a giant lit-up RW through which Rob could walk through the R. There was also an old-fashioned theatre-style display which said Clark and Enthoven presents, then different wording at various points throughout the evening, like One Night Stands with Robbie Williams. Robbie Williams loves to swing. Robbie Williams loves to sing. The W had dropped. Robbie Williams loves to sin. The W and the G had dropped. During Lady as a Tramp, that one was. One Night with Robbie Williams. And Rob and Johnny, they're just good friends, honest. Nicole Kidman and Rupert Everett were both present at the gig, but didn't sing with him live, so those were the only 2 songs from the album not included in the show. The 3 songs he sung that night that didn't feature on the album were all included as B-sides to Something Stupid and later Mr. Bojangles. The Daily Mail's review said, "It could have been the most excruciating circus of karaoke of the decade. That it wasn't is a huge tribute to Robbie Williams's abundance of talent."
Yes, the show was released on DVD and became one of the best-selling music DVDs of all time in Europe, being certified 7 times platinum in the UK and 2 times platinum in Germany. It peaked at number 1 in the UK, Australia and New Zealand. 2 days after the end of his October 2003 tour, Rob did a small swing set for the European premiere of Finding Nemo in Berlin. He was accompanied by a youth orchestra, gave a live performance of several songs off the album in the subway station Bundestag, which at the time was only structurally completed, in front of a few hundred invited guests. In the car on the way to the premiere, he was discussing how to fit a swing tour into his schedule because he thought it would be less stressful than a normal tour. "Because I just stand, it's laid back, no running, I could go to sleep after," said Rob.
Isn't it amazing that he was talking about that in 2003 and then by 10 years later, well, 11, he actually did it.
I love the way he was just looking at it as like a lazy tour, and I think far from it,
Yeah,
actually.
it will
when he
be
realised
easy.
what it was like.
And Rob later did a swing set at the album launch for Escapology, the Robbie Williams show, which was filmed at Pinewood Studios. He included Have You Met Miss Jones, Mr. Bojangles, One for My Baby, and Ain't That a Kick in the Head. He also sung Mac the Knife at Elizabeth II's Diamond Jubilee concert in June 2012. And
Yes,
he performed 3 songs from the first Swing album on the Swing tour in 2014. Ain't That a Kick in the Head, Do Nothing Till You Hear From Me, and Mr. Bojangles. So one thing we noticed as well when he was at the Albert Hall is that he didn't have the in-ears in his ears.
Yeah, he didn't have his feedback, basically normally when you see him at a concert, he's got his RW in-ear headphones on because obviously everything's so loud and you can't always hear the original sound. So I can only assume that the sound, everyone says the sound in the Albert Hall is incredible. I don't think I've ever seen anything in there actually, so I wouldn't know.
I saw Anton Deck there.
Apparently the sound in the Albert Hall is better.
PJ and Duncan.
I think it's renowned for being...
Sorry,
Honestly, I'm trying to say this really serious reference and talk about PJ and Duncan. I'm sure they sounded good as well.
Yeah, it was great.
What are you like?
Sorry, carry on.
No, but it wasn't that great. I was just saying the Albert Hall is known as being one of the best places for sound.
Yeah.
So I can only assume that he must have been able to hear the orchestra himself, everything really well, because normally you can't hear what's going on when you're on stage and you have to have those.
But he did it so well, it was like he just didn't need them. He was perfect.
I think, again, as fans, we can be critical and we want to be, we know when he's going out of tune and we know when he's not singing well, and he knows as well.
Yeah. But those are the good bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's why we're ultra tuned in to what happened on that night. Because when we watched it back the other day, it was just, oh my God, I said to Lucy, was this filmed as live? Because when they say in TV as live, was it filmed straight through? Apparently it was.
Oh.
Normally with film show, when it's filmed like that, they do retakes, they do the song 2-3 times. It was done as a show, and I think that is remarkable.
It's testament to how good he is.
Is live at the Albert Hall the one where it keeps going backstage and he's like wearing a hat and he's like, I look like a twat in a hat.
Yes, that's right.
I like that bit. He's like, I look like a twat in a hat.
Yeah.
And I can also understand when he said earlier on about, we lost money on it initially.
Yeah.
To look at the amount of people involved, the stars involved, the rehearsals involved, the production, the team behind it, everything, I can understand why. I mean, that was just quite a production. I don't think many people even realise how complex that must have been to put on. Just huge production.
I'm always gutted.
What an
looking back that we
incredible
didn't
show,
go.
though.
Yeah.
I wish those were my Robbie days. I didn't really do the tours and stuff
they
back
were.
then. I was gutted I missed that. Yeah.
It's because the tickets were so expensive that I didn't go.
Were they?
Yeah, but those are like
no, but
in those
general
days.
prices now.
But then the tickets were like 25 quid, 30
So
quid.
if that was done these days, it'd be £500 or £600 equivalent, something like that. So what we would like to know, though, because Lucy and I were talking about this earlier on, is if any of our listeners did go to that show, let us know. Maybe hit us up on the social, send us some photos, tell us about what it was really like to be in there, because I can imagine the atmosphere. You can feel it when you watch the DVD, so being in there must have been amazing. So let us know if you did go. We'd love to hear your story.
Was it like an invite thing, or was there actually fans there?
No, it was
I
fans.
can't remember the
tickets.
audience.
Yeah, around the seated people right at in the front of him, I think were invited people.
Oh, okay.
But all around the edges, around the sides of the Albert Hall, you could buy tickets to be there. Because I did consider it with Laura. We talked about it at the time.
Oh, really?
But we both agreed we couldn't afford it because we were young. I had only just moved to London like a year before. I just couldn't afford to be paying that much at that time of my life.
And off the top of my head, I don't think we do know many people that actually... No. I don't think we know anyone that went. So please do let us know if you're listening and you went to that show. We'd love to hear your stories about it.
Because I remember buying the DVD because it's the cover of the DVD, not that like emotional moment when he sang One for My Baby.
Yeah.
And One More for the Road. Is it not like that like almost tearful moment?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I often, the song Shine by Take That is about Robbie, and they say that bit about, I can't remember the exact lines, but something about crying and then the crowd are on your side or something like that.
Yeah.
And it always makes me think that they wrote that about the Albert Hall show.
Yeah.
Right.
In particular.
It is such a good... I've not watched it for so long.
Yeah, neither had we. That's why we watched it.
Mostly because I don't actually have a DVD player anymore. But
we've got two.
Yeah.
We still have a VHS player.
I always remember the bit where he comes skipping on. Is that when he's away to do the duet with Johnny? Where he comes skipping on and he's got one hand behind his ear.
That looks
I can't
like
remember.
Morecambe and Wise the way you were doing that.
Yeah,
because they used to come on. They used to come on doing that, and that would definitely be Robbie doing that.
Yeah, there's one bit of the show and he's proper skipping on, and they're like, I can't remember what song it is.
So for the audience listening,
I always remember
Kelly's
that bit.
putting out one hand behind her head and putting it, and then the other hand, like Morecambe and Wise used to do when they used to come dancing on stage. So. And skipping, that was a Morecambe and Wise reference.
I think it was maybe Things or the one with John Lovitz.
Yeah, that was a little tribute. I think.
Yeah,
fans would have got.
Yeah, it wasn't Things actually because he escorted her down the stairs to that.
That would make sense because they're quite comical, a lot of the songs.
Yeah.
But
did you ever?
You probably will notice that the baggy shirt now.
What? Because he was so skinny.
Yeah.
I think he looks too thin. At the
it was kind of getting untucked from his trousers, wasn't it? I don't think it was supposed to look all ruffled like it did. He was very thin then.
Yeah. I think he likes how thin he was then, but personally
Robbie, you had a good thin face back then.
Well, no, I didn't.
It's only because we had a discussion about thin faces once.
Okay.
Well, he said my face looked thin. Asked me why I had such a thin face. I said, well, I don't know. I do a lot of running and keep fit. I don't know. It's always been a bit like this, really. Never had a fat face. Well, maybe I did when I was younger, but anyway. Moving on.
And this is a controversial thought, but
Ooh, go on, Lucy. Stir it
Well,
up.
after this album and the success of it, obviously they started to write Escapology, or were writing it. And then the whole argument with Guy happened about him wanting more money and more of a cut of other like royalties, not just his own songwriting royalties, because he felt he was more part of Robbie than, you know.
Yeah.
And I wonder whether it was because this album was so successful and Guy hadn't written all the songs and he didn't get as much money out of this album. And therefore that's why he wanted to change their contract so that he could get more money out of albums like this when he
regardless of what genre it was.
Yeah. I don't know. I have no evidence to back that up. It's just a thought that came to me.
Yeah, I think it's one of the reasons Guy has his hands in so many pockets now.
Yeah.
But rightly so. He's like so super talented. Why shouldn't you share that with so many?
Yeah.
But on that point, well, not on the Guy point, but more on how Robbie did this and his management team and everything, record company.
I think this was a genius move.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
And it's not just the fact that they picked up a pop star and said, do some swing songs.
Yeah.
We know that it's genuine because he was listening to that music. His dad was playing that music. You know, as he was growing up, he was singing that music. And so it wasn't just like a manufactured thing that happened. And I think that comes across in the performance. You can tell it's not just a pop star singing some swing songs. It's a pop star who loves swing.
You could see how much he just adores it and loves it.
Yeah.
And it really shows.
And I think even though it broadened it to a bigger audience, I think that bigger audience will have also felt that as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Even those that don't listen to any other Robbie and just have got that album. You know, they must have felt it.
Yeah.
Because he was just so connected.
Yeah, because he wasn't just covering the songs, he was really singing them.
Yeah.
He wasn't just like,
It was emotional.
I thought, and he's always so happy when he's doing swing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it when he went down into the crowd as well and sort of wandered around the posh people on the tables, and obviously his mum was down there and he said hello to her, which was lovely. And
Oh, but do you not think that Robbie's just so perfect in front of an orchestra?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I was so happy when he brought a bit of swing onto the Christmas album, because that kind of music in Christmas is just perfect. So perfect.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you say about him being perfect in front of an orchestra, because as we've been doing this podcast project and we've been listening to more of the music, you know, in different ways and sort of researching it, you realise how much orchestral arrangement is actually in Robbie songs, just in the normal songs, because not every pop star always has a brass section.
No.
You know, and it features a lot more in his songs than I think people realise. So I think that's got a lot to do with Guy. But it's that vibe is there in a lot of the songs.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I think it's absolutely genius that not only did he go on to do a second album, but it's completely original.
Yeah, there's only a few covers on that one.
Yeah. And who else writes swing songs?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Gary's tried to do a bit of swing, because obviously I've been to see Gary and stuff, and he just doesn't do it as well as Robbie, I'm afraid to say.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gary fans. I am a Robbie fan, and I do love Gary, but I am a Gary fan, but I just, he doesn't do it as well as Robbie.
Yeah.
It's in Robbie's bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in his DNA.
Definitely.
Well, his dad, you know, sang those songs as well, I think. And so not only was he brought up on them, but I think it literally is in his DNA.
Yeah.
His genes.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I noticed was how green and sparkling Robbie's eyes were at the Albert Hall show.
Yeah.
I bet you did.
There's just, I don't know, they were just sparkling because he was enjoying it, maybe?
Well, they
Don't
say that you can tell a lot through the eyes, and I think when someone is truly connected and happy, that they say the eyes smile, don't they? And they do.
Yeah.
And I think he was in his extremely happy place.
Yeah.
And it showed through his sparkly green eyes.
Right, have we covered the Albert Hall? I think we probably have.
Yeah. Well, just what an incredible performance.
Yeah.
Just
It's amazing. Such a good DVD.
we need to lend you a DVD player so you can watch it again.
Yeah.
Kelly.
Yeah, I haven't
I'm
seen
sure
it
it's all
for
on
so
YouTube.
long.
We'll stream it up to you or something.
Yeah.
Not illegally, of course.
Right, so now we need to actually pick our favourite song off the album so that we can put it onto our playlist. I know what my favourite is.
Oh.
Just one.
Just one.
One
yeah.
song from the album.
One song, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go first. Mine is Something Stupid.
Why?
Oh,
'Cause
really?
It takes me back
Because
to
of the date.
our date, yeah.
Because of the actual date.
Yes.
No, not actual. It was a proper date.
A proper date.
I mean, I could make up some story here, like, I went to the barman and asked him to put that song on, but that's
No.
not true. It
No.
just happened. And it was a lovely moment, isn't it, Lucy? Thank you.
Yeah. I just love the song, and I love Nicole Kidman, and
Yeah.
it's a great song. So that's my
Yeah.
pick. Who's
Do you
going
want to
next?
go next,
Matt,
Kelly, or do you want me
you
to?
go. You go, because I think that you're going to say one of my favourites. So whichever one you say, I'll go with the other one. If you say it.
know. I've given a few clues away, but I'm not sure I gave too many clues away about this
Okay.
particular one. So you might be surprised.
Oh, no.
So I am going to pick I Will Talk and Hollywood Will Listen.
Oh, damn it.
No? Is that not one of yours?
No.
Oh.
Well, yeah, but I thought you were going to pick Mr. Bojangles.
Well, it was
So
close.
that would have made
be-
my choice easier, because that's what I'm struggling with.
Well, that would have been my second, and it was quite close. But I just really, really like I Will Talk and Hollywood Will Listen. I think it's a great homage by Robbie and Guy to the whole genre, actually, and the era of the music that Robbie loves, and he's highlighting on the album. And I just love the epic arrangement. It's just huge, and vocally Robbie's incredible, and he's got great range on the song. So yeah, I love that one. But sorry I haven't made your choice any easier, but I would have picked Bojangles as second, just to let you know.
Yeah.
Come on then. Decision time.
I am going to go with Straighten Up and Fly Right.
Ooh, excellent.
And
That
how
was
did you
tough.
make that choice then? Tell us.
Because I looked at my list of songs here, and that's the one I kept looking back at.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the one that I kept looking back at and smiling about.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a tough one. Mr. Bojangles should be on the playlist.
It should really, shouldn't it? But
Yeah.
yes, yeah, we can't fit everything. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about it in a positive light. We've given it a good.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think I would choose Straighten Up and Fly Right.
Okay, well, they'll be on our playlist.
Yay!
Yeah.
That one just makes me happy.
So, just before we wrap up this episode, make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out. And also, Lucy and I would really appreciate it if you can leave us a star rating. You can do this on both Apple and Spotify podcasts. We would also love it if you could write us a short review, and you can do this on Apple. Don't forget, you can check out our episode notes for each episode and links to all tracks and videos at robbiewilliamsrewind.com. You can also email us at email@robbiewilliamsrewind.com. Please also follow and chat on our social channels. It's at RewindRobbie on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. And you can also like and follow our Facebook page, Robbie Williams Rewind. And before we return to this episode, you might also consider sending us one of your own Robbie stories for the show. Just record a short audio clip on your phone and email it to us. Please check the website for more details. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
So we'll better say thanks for listening to our listeners, and especially thank you very much to Kelly.
Thank you, Kelly.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
We've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've really brought the Swing album to life for us. It was great.
Lovely having you on, and your passion for swing and your connection to the whole album is incredible, and we're so lucky to have you on this episode. So it was absolutely right to have you for this one.
Yeah, it was always going to be you for this one.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Swing will always be my favourite thing.
Oh.
I love it. And of course, swing is the only reason that I am a Robbie fan today.
Connects to Robbie's story. That's
yeah. I was introduced
perfect.
to Robbie through swing. Who would have thought? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And thank you for having me. You've been great hosts.
Oh, thank you.
We've loved it.
Yeah.
So our next episode, we'll be talking about the B-sides from the singles off Swing When You're Winning. So there's not
that
very
will
many.
be a good one.
Yeah.
Just a short episode next week, I think. And that's with Elaine from Ireland.
Well, it depends how many stories Elaine might have. You know, there could be some juicy stories there.
Yeah, I think I've heard a few already.
Sure.
She's got some good things to tell us.
And we wish you all a very Merry Christmas. And I think Lucy's just going to finish with something before we go. Over to you, Lucy.
So from our house to yours, from the family Robbie Williams Rewind, we wish you the best Christmas and a very, very happy New Year. Night, night, everyone. Night, night.
Woo!
Yay!
Well read.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Ho, ho, ho.
And a happy New Year.
Yeah.
Robbie Williams Rewind.